I will channel my inner Brian.
It's already too late.
It's always been too late.
Yeah.
I ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich today, and it made me think of Brian. The only 40-year-old white man in American history to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and go, well, this is different.
Here's some Cheds.
Yay.
Hey, welcome to Crippled System, episode 246. My name is Andy, and I play
Wait for it.
Circle and some Kill Ball, and
Lots of WoW.
lots of WoW, and I played a game of Necromunda today. Yep.
My name is Nathan, and I'm actually thinking about making a Queen's Guard deck, but that's just absurd. But still, I can't help but resist. I can't resist the jank. Like, it's garbage. It's like making a. It's like making a.
The freebooter list.
No, but those are the dwarves things in Mark 1.
Gordon?
Well, the whole faction.
Searforge.
Rulic. It's like going Searforge in Mark 1. Like, Queen's Guard is garbage and easily counterable, and it's been dead for a year, but I want to play it.
Well, that's also kind of the way that you win with it too. Is if it's not relatively played that much, most people don't have things built up to be a defense for it.
Oh, no, it's a victim to every tech that's out there for the things that are heavily played, so it's just an innocent bystander that's slaughtered like cattle, and
So you're just channeling your inner Rancor.
yeah. Like, people are using flamethrowers against, like, monsters, and I'm like, oh, the perfect time for me to unleash my marshmallow army.
It would almost work for
Okay,
Ghostbusters.
first cheese I don't like.
There's the balsamic sartori. Yeah, it's a very dry, like I said, very almost Swiss-like.
Yeah, I think it shredded over something might be better, but just as plain, not so much yet. But this one seems promising.
Yeah, well, that's more of just a semi-soft, garlic, parmesan, rosemary, whatever the hell.
Yep, and
I
I'm
like that.
Dan. I play Crippled Guard.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I might need to buy Locke. Locke looks like she's okay.
Locke is the girl with the mechanical arms.
Yes.
Okay, I got her. I got that one, and I'm supposed to get a Sylvester from somebody, but I don't know who. Possibly
Sylvester
at this
doesn't
table.
play for my faction.
No, he doesn't.
I don't even have an excuse anymore. I see you every week.
Yeah, it's like 2 times a week you see each other now.
Still sitting on my painting table.
That's fine. He would be sitting in a bag until 3 weeks before Who's the Boss, when I remember that he needs to be painted for Adepticon.
So I have a while.
Yeah.
Or do you just want me to paint him?
Well, maybe I could have you paint all the Crucible Guard.
I mean, that's only
Yes,
5. That's
Yeah.
not terrible.
5 and 1 ridiculously huge one.
That's true.
Yeah, you didn't run the, 4 huge base Crucible Guard list.
Correct, because 3 of them don't have a release date.
Fair.
What's the 3? Oh, the
McKay, a Vulcan, and 2 Railist Interceptors, and 5 extra points.
How come I've seen Railist Interceptors out there already?
Those are Thomas the Tank Engines on a 5-inch base.
No, I could have sworn I saw.
They haven't even done renders for them yet.
Oh, what's the other huge base one that's been released then?
The Vulcan is out.
Oh, the Vulcan. Okay.
Has been pre-released, but it doesn't officially come out till October.
Okay, yeah, because I saw Jason Watt had one over.
Correct, and he did a very, very good job painting it.
Beautiful model. God damn. That fucker
Jason
could
Watt?
paint. Jason Watt, yeah.
What? I didn't know he was a model.
What?
He did modeling work, or?
God damn it. He painted a model, so he modeled the Convergence model.
Okay.
Yes.
Which makes him a model, and
Yes.
that's why you're calling him a beautiful model.
He is beautiful.
Dreamy eyes.
His painting, though, is fucking amazing.
It's all right.
What? No, have you seen that fucking?
Yes,
that
I've seen
Vulcan?
his painting.
Oh, god damn
I've
it!
seen his painting in general. He's good stuff. Like his teal stones on his scorn back in the day, then when he used to be Lord Tyrant Watt. It was very good. Very nice stuff.
Yep. Oh man, yesterday was kind of a drain.
Dude, yeah. Up at 4:30, home at 12:30. I was exhausted. I was goddamn exhausted.
I was that way with an hour off of each end, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, I was happy to drive there, and I realized that would have probably been better overall, and it seemed like it was probably better overall. But
Yeah, I mean, I slept the rest of the way home, which was nice, so that way I wasn't too tired when I got home.
yeah, when you picked up your car from here.
Yeah,
you
I
on the way?
slept the rest of the way home.
Sure,
It was
sure.
very convenient. I just said car auto drive, and then I kind of just faded out of reality.
Yeah, your car, you can't do that.
Only hit 3 deer.
Only 3.
Eventually got home.
Only 3. They're the
Well-
ones sleeping on the side of the road too.
At least 2 of them I know for sure were deer. The third one was like wearing a suit, but it might have just been a deer in a suit. Yeah.
You hit Pee Wee Herman?
Yes.
Yeah, yesterday was a WiTC. We had 14 teams, 4 rounds of War Machine and Horde's greatness.
Well,
Well, not greatness, maybe.
it was
Games.
mostly greatness.
I mean, the
Games
Canadians
were played.
did make Kador great again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that Facebook group. That Facebook group, they needed a champion, and they found a champion, and they want to question the crap out of that champion forever.
I like the one, like, because Banky's just like, yeah, we just took Kador because we thought Kador would be good. And somebody's like, bullshit, you took Kador because you wanted to, like, rub our faces in it. Well, I was like, calm down, buddy.
Well, and then Banky's like, okay, maybe a little.
No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I noticed Cosmo has been very quiet since then as well.
Yeah.
well, he's got no purpose right now. I mean, the Protectorate, the Protectorate got leaked on, well, not leaked, because it was released on Friday.
There you go. Release. That's
It
what
was a very
official.
official leak.
Yep, very official leak. Went through all the channels, like, this doesn't make any sense. There's an insider on this, too.
They'll never catch me if I do it publicly.
So, I mean, that's done, so he can't post his day X threads anymore.
Deus Ex?
Deus Ex.
Mankind Divided?
No,
Yeah.
the bad one.
Oh.
Cyberpunk 2077?
That's not the bad one. Oh, my God. I have to build a gamer PC just to make sure I'm able to play that game when it comes out.
Yeah, it looks freaking pretty.
Oh.
I'm hoping that we don't get a Watch Dogs type thing out of it, where it looks really pretty, and then when we get it, they're like, bleh.
Watch Dogs 2 was good. But no,
Is it
Cyberpunk
a-
2077, I mean, it's got the System Shock 1 and 2 thing where it's like a first-person shooter RPG, and you don't get those anymore, and I like them.
No, yeah. When I found out it was an RPG first person shooter, I thought that was a interesting way to go about doing it, and very good. I think. I mean, I liked my Borderlands. I consider that being an RPG.
Yeah, it is light. It's a lighter version, but it is definitely along that mechanic.
Yeah.
Level up, get stats. I mean, Borderlands boils the stats down just to the skill points. You don't invest in, like, strength versus dexterity and
No.
stuff like that. So it's, I mean, kind of almost like the Fallouts as well are technically first-person shooter RPGs. But the first Fallout 3 and 4 have issues in that you don't have a choice in how you play them, which is what I don't really like about them.
How so?
Fallout 1 and 2, I can walk into a raider encampment, talk to their leader, and resolve situations. I can join
Sure.
them, I can trade with them, I can buy and sell slaves. I can do what I want to do because it's a role-playing game and I'm playing a role.
Okay.
In Fallout 3 and 4, raiders shoot me when they see me, and that's
Yeah.
all raiders do.
That's true.
New Vegas tried to have a little more of the dialogue options with the different factions and loyalties, so it's a little better, but still, compared to the 1 and 2,
Sure. No, that makes sense. No, I thought you meant like how you play the game, because like for Fallout 4, I had 2 different gameplay experiences
Sure.
for it. I played it as normal and it wasn't fun, and then I played it in survival mode, and that was an entirely different sequence. Survival mode pretty much did devolve into me just running around the wilderness tapping my VATS button.
Sure,
Until-
so VATS would tell you if there was an enemy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's pretty much you just hear click, 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 click. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Oh my god, it's a bloat fly! Run!
Oh god, it's a hidden death claw.
or just random Deathclaws or random giants sitting
Or
with
like when you do the pond and like, that swan is being picked up by vats.
Why am I targeting an inanimate? Oh God!
Oh yeah, that was Swan.
I played Fallout 4 as Pokemon, and it was great.
It's Pokemon.
Yeah, because you there's a skill under the dialogue. Because I like to play Fallout games and whatnot as a talker. I love going heavy charisma, and that's why I particularly amongst all people am upset at the lack of that in 3 and 4. But in the skill tree, there's a charisma-based thing where you can make people stop shooting, and you can make them actually join you and fight against each other. And then when you you can also do it with animals. And so I would find like a matriarch Deathclaw and just say, "Hey, you're my pet now," and then they would follow me around, and I just have it attack another Deathclaw, and they'd just be fighting each other. It was like Pokemon. It was great.
I wish I had it on video. I didn't realize my PS4 you can capture like the last X amount of time, like the last 15 minutes of there. I didn't realize that, but I had a very insane battle with a Deathclaw where I was just running around a single tree and then down a hill and then back up the hill and then around the tree because it couldn't really get me.
I learned about the 15-minute thing because I shared like a funny 10-second long thing that happened. But I didn't.
15.
It was the last 10 seconds of a 15-minute video because I just like share to the Facebooks. And I'm sure nobody sat through 15 minutes of aimless wandering to get to the 10-second funny.
You should have tagged it with just wait till you see it at the end.
I edited it and I said, "Hey, skip forward. I'm an idiot." It was funny though. I fast traveled and I appeared literally like between the legs of a super mutant behemoth.
No, nice.
Like I just appeared there. It's like, holy shit! He was angry at me.
We figured you were just doing clickbait.
Yeah, well, you know.
Watch this video. You won't believe what happens next.
Yeah, good old clickbait.
Did any of those ever really pay off?
No. No, literally never.
No.
And I always believe the thing they say I won't believe.
Oh yeah, you'll never believe it.
It's like, man stops at red light. You won't believe what happens next. And the light turns green eventually. I believe that. I'm doing this, Andy. This is my third time bringing a mead for you. I didn't bother getting a glass for Dan. But the last couple times, and I thought David would be here, because David specifically complained that they were too sweet and light. And this one's a little more...
that's too much.
A little more...
ready.
Yeah, so it's a little, I don't want to say heavier, but flavorful. It's richer. Richer's a good word. Because this has hibiscus and hops in it, so it's not just the clean honey wine.
Smells very winey.
Nah, Daddy, I want a golden goose.
Smell it at least.
But yeah, so it's not just the crisp honey wine, white, flavor. It's got the bing. Oh, yes, I have a sneeze. Yeah, WITC was yesterday, and we were all there. And at least one of us played. I thought half of us played, but damn it, David.
I drank.
Yeah, only at the start.
I drank fairly heavily at the start.
Yeah, you were off to the races, and then you're like, oh, wait.
Then I realized I needed to drive, and then I realized I wanted to get some alcohol for Mr. Banky, because for future sortilage in my future. Yeah, that was an entire trip by itself too. But I sobered enough so I could drive to go get alcohol. And
The Wisconsin way.
Yeah, tell your anecdote.
my wonderful anecdote.
Yes, tell your battle report.
My battle report. Yes, it's 3 rounds.
Andy versus Woodman's.
So Woodman's is a local grocery store in Wisconsin. It's pretty much. This cheese is awesome, by the way.
I will continue to eat.
So all the locals in Milwaukee had convinced me.
I'll eat both.
Locals in Milwaukee had convinced me that the grocery store was just down the street around the corner. And that's how everyone described it as. So I'm like, okay. So I got into my car. I did not bring my phone because I'm an idiot. Because I heard that it's just down the street and around the corner.
Well, your phone was on your painting table playing Dragon Force.
Yes.
And so it was busy at the time.
It was busy at the time.
I was near that table that round. It actually was kind of nice.
Yeah.
So I go down the street.
That round 3? It was probably the highlight of your round 3.
It was. But we'll get to that in a few minutes.
So I go down the street. I take a left. And I drive down their beltway and don't find one. So then I come back, almost get lost, because I live in a day and age where I have to rely on my phone for maps. So I get back, and then I decide I'm going to go right, and I go a super long way. Don't find a fucking grocery store. Go back to the place. Pick up my phone. look up Woodman's. And I'm like, oh, Woodman's. It's only 5 minutes away.
But there were more turns than they had led you to believe, so you didn't find
Correct.
it.
I didn't find it. So I took my phone this time, drove over to Woodman's, and went into the alcohol center. If you're ever in Wisconsin and you need alcohol, go to Woodman's. There's a lot of alcohol at Woodman's.
For competitive prices. It's a very good mix between large selection and good prices.
Correct. And they do have a lot of imported stuff. I mean, unfortunately, you're not going to find, well, only if it's in Wisconsin, you'll find New Glarus there. But anyway.
They used to have like really cool deals where it'd be like, buy a 24-pack of beer and get like a pack of brats for free or something.
Sure.
But they don't have those specials in their liquor department anymore.
No. So then Woodman's is also kind of the why we're mentioning it here is it's an odd bird out there.
Caramba!
It only accepts
He's dead
cash.
He's dead?
Yeah.
Oh, that's recent.
What?
I thought that guy died or retired or something.
Who died?
Well, he'd been doing commercials with his kids. Joey Woodman, or whatever his name is,
Oh.
the old guy who did the commercials. You'd be
Sure.
like, caramba, what a savings. And he hated it when people would come up to him on the street and just say caramba. It's like, well, if you hate it so much, stop yourself. Like, you're the one making it a catchphrase. But he was doing commercials with his kids, I think, because he was aware he was going to retire. But I didn't think he had died/retired yet, but maybe he had.
Whatever. Anyways.
But anyway, Woodman's only accepts cash or debit cards.
Because they don't want to do with credit card fees.
Because they don't want to deal with credit cards. They just flat out, all Woodman's do not accept credit cards.
Right.
So I get up to the counter, I'm about to pay, and I realize that my debit card is not with me because it is back at the Elks Lodge, which is being used for my tab. So I have to leave all my shit there, leave all the stuff there, go back to the Elks Lodge, then drive back to Woodman's, buy the alcohol, and then come back. And success! I gave alcohol to Tim Bakey.
Like, you went through all that effort to buy booze for someone else.
Yep. Because I knew he loved it.
You could drive to Woodman.
That's very true too. But I figured by the time that the event ended, it would have been after 9 o'clock, and crazy Wisconsin laws.
I'd say by the time we left, he left. It would have been actually he left after we did not think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They were-
I mean, he could have gotten into the vehicle and gone out before then. But crazy Wisconsin laws, you can't buy alcohol.
I mean, I
after
kind
9
of
o'clock.
would kind of want to watch the poor 18-year-old cashier at Woodman's try and card Tim with his Canadian ID.
It's just like a live beaver. Is that what they use for ID?
Just
It's like Flintstone style.
pull it out.
Yeah. I'm Canadian.
They use it to stamp their cards too.
Yeah, I'll just bite. It's a living.
But yeah, that was my battle report. I then proceeded to buy more alcohol from the Elks Lodge. There was a lot of people wanting to buy me alcohol, and I knew I had to drive, and so I did not partake in that.
Nobody bought me anything.
I bought you a soda.
That's
That was also the other reason too. Is you were like, I need a soda bad, and I felt bad because I kept on getting there and coming back without a soda.
That's all right. I got a $3 Sprecher root beer from the bar.
Otherwise, yeah, everything seemed to go solid. I only effed up one ruling because I didn't pass that information over to Nathan when Nathan told me what to say, and otherwise I thought I did.
Oh, is that the charge through a flag one?
No, charge through flag. No, we were right on that.
Okay, because that one at least is a weird one.
The one was so some units have a leader that has a different ability from the grunts, but they're not an officer.
Okay.
Such as, I mean, the character one is crows,
Crow, yeah.
but even stuff like the brigands.
Oh, it's the RFP, the unit commander, the leader one.
So that's the key point. So it was just miscommunication. But Andy comes up, he's like, "Hey, if you field promote a grunt into a leader model, does he still have the abilities of the leader model?" I'm like, yeah, but the leader model in question in that game had been RFP'd.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that part, and so I ruled it wrong.
I wonder if that was the same game where I had to make a judge call because you were gone and you were in the bathroom about what happens when you run out of grunts to field promote.
Run out of grunts.
He had just weapon attachments left. So he was asking if you could field promote a weapon attachment into a leader, which you can't.
Yeah,
can't.
no, you
They-
can't.
they
It
would
just
just
becomes
become
the
the
commander.
their
Yeah.
commander.
So I wonder if that was the same game because that unit was getting kicked the shit out of.
No, this was a unit of Ironmongers.
Oh, okay.
That this one was for.
Ironmongers. Remember, we were supposed to say it that way. Iran,
we were not in Montreal.
No, that one Canadian guy was supposed to say it that
Oh,
way.
okay,
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah, I say we're not in Montreal. We play War Machine in English.
I like the idea of purposely mispronouncing everything. Like Cador.
Well, then you can go.
I am holding a knife.
I say, Andy, you can go up and play with the Quebecois, but we won't.
I was trying to be ironic.
No, it's the Quebecois. Fuck them.
You also can just go to hell.
No, but you brought
go to
Cador.
Quebec and
Cador
hell.
is Cador. But I
In
said
that
I would
order.
unpronounce it. I would pronounce it bad, like Cador.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't do that.
No.
Don't pronounce it Condor. I'm going to put this more central so Andy can reach his cheese and you can reach your cheese.
But my
You just-
cheds.
You just stole Dan's Ched. Was that your secret mission there?
Maybe.
Just to steal Dan's Ched?
I could have taken it that whole time.
That's true.
It was grabbable.
And he had a knife, so I probably wouldn't have stopped him.
Did you try your mead with hibiscus and hops?
I tried a little bit of it.
It's less sweet and dry than the other ones.
It
Like
has-
I said, it's richer.
Maybe it's just my palate. I can't differentiate that between wine.
It is wine, right? It just does honey instead of grapes. And that's the thing, is a misconception about your screen went purple, but it's a misconception about mead. It's not a beer. It's not a hard alcohol. It's just wine. I was rewatching American Gods the other day with a friend who loves the book but hadn't seen it. So
Never
when he
seen
was
it.
visiting, you should. It's very good. But there's a scene where Shadow is like doing business with Mr. Wednesday, and he has him do shots of mead, and they treat it like he's doing like shots of like some hard alcohol. I'm like, dude, that is like he's doing communion.
Yeah,
like
but-
you're just doing little thimbles of wine. Like this isn't some hard booze.
If he was a toothpick or something like that, that might actually.
Shadow is not a toothpick. Shadow is a big rip you in half man.
I know I really need to see that show.
You should. You definitely should. You can, on your PS4, on the Stars app, you can get a week free subscription, and there's only 8 episodes. So watch 1 a day with 2 on Saturday, and you have watched the entire season.
Or just spend all Saturday.
Or to spend all Saturday. That works too.
I need to get my Ian McShane stuff in, because you heard about it too, didn't you? Deadwood.
Yeah, the
Deadwood movie got
Yeah.
got greenlit, so that's going to be made.
Ian McShane's very good in American Gods. Very, very good. As Mr. Wednesday. The gentleman who plays Shadow. Everybody's good in it. The show is good. You've never read the book, right? Because
No.
yeah.
I don't
You
know
read
how
the
to
book?
read.
No.
Oh, you should. It's good.
Yeah, I should.
You definitely should. Have you watched the show?
I have not.
Jesus, fuck both of you.
I mean, I like Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
That's Neil Gaiman, right?
Yes, it is Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
It is Neil Gaiman. American Gods is incredibly good. And this is an example. The show is one of those adaptations that does... Cheryl is asking if the first season's done. The first season's done like 10 months ago. It's been like a year since the first season was done. But, in fact, second season...
soon.
It's coming soon. They just shot it at... because the House on the Rock is an important plot point in the book. It's not plot, maybe plot point, but it's a location in the book. Part of the story takes place in House on the Rock, and they just finished shooting there
That's
like a
right.
couple months ago.
No, wasn't that like a few weeks ago?
I think it was like April or May. Because
Yeah.
I remember when they put out the casting thing, I actually answered it. It was in the spring, but whatever. The point
Whatever,
is,
yeah.
they just
was
shot
not that
at
long
the
ago.
House on the Rock, and so
Yeah.
I know season 2 is a thing. Non-Euclidean Nick and Chat says future seasons are questionable, but I think season 2 is a lock. Like they're filming it, it's coming out. It is
They're
one of
just
those
going to film and can it.
Right.
Like
it is one of those prestige shows where Starz is probably losing money on it, kind of like HBO loses money on Westworld, but gains money on the fact that they are the channel that has Westworld.
Correct.
Which is just such a weird... It's just so fucking weird. You know, we had the same discussion with Bright on Netflix. Like, how the fuck does Bright make money for Netflix? Like, they spent $150 million making this movie. Did they get $150 million worth of subscriptions? No. There's no way they did, but somehow they must count it worth it. Whatever. Point is, watch American Gods. Read American Gods. It's very good. And, Dan, you should talk about yesterday.
Yeah, I can talk about yesterday. So, my team, I had myself, John Damaris, and Josh Maxson.
Or is that part of my dog?
it's part of your dog.
Yeah, it's part of my dog. Hi,
Hi.
Kaya. Woof, woof. Put this in my pocket, take it home, put it back on her.
So round
Is that
one,
what you do with all the hair? Just vacuum it up. Just attach.
Just spray her with adhesive and dump the hair on her.
Stop shedding.
This'll learn ya.
Sorry, Dan.
give me another damn chat.
No, I got to put some on the cake.
Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah.
So anyways, round one, we drew the Trophy Husbands, which was David and Quimby and Keith.
Yep.
I ended up playing into Quimby. It was Silvestro versus Grim 2.
He was playing Grim 2 and
Madrak 1.
Madrak 1. Yep.
Because his painter was able to successfully rush ship him his stuff. So
Poor Quimby. His SOS on the day was 14.
correct. I'm the one who fucked up him tying Math's SOS from last year. But once again, we'll get to that in a minute.
So he...
The most SOS you could have would be 16.
correct.
But yeah,
Matt has the record at 15.
Jake had 14.
Yep.
His opponents went 3-0 or 4-0, 4-0,
3-1.
3-1, 3-1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Owie.
Rough day for poor
I'm
Jake.
proud
and
to
Jake.
actually be part of both of those records because last year I was one of the 4-0s for that.
So Jake didn't win a game?
He won the last one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He was one of the ones for
One
a
of the ones?
3-1. Yeah. So he has only himself to blame for not tying the record.
He actually
If he
said,
had lost his last game and Dan had won all of his games, Jake would have had a perfect 16 strength of schedule.
yeah. So anyways, so my and Jake's game pretty much boiled down to, so he had a Mortality caster, I was playing the Press Gangers with Morley, so I knew that he was going to be casting Mortality every turn, and I just accepted that and used it to kind of lock Grim into a position of saying, here, you're going to be spending 4 Fury a turn casting Mortality, because the Rune Bearer can't hit a Defense 15 unit reliably. And that kind of worked pretty well.
You traded 2 defense for -4 Fury on his Warlock.
Correct.
Good trade.
Yes. And also his Warlock having to hang back because if he ever failed to hit Mortality, he would die. So he had to be like casting it at max range.
So you had to basically remove whatever he cast Mortality on.
Yeah.
Is in a way, yep.
So I went first, ran stuff up. He moved some stuff up. I went and feeded, and he got really confused because I feeded and was about to send half my army into one of his battle engines, but I first decided I should just have Gorman blind it first because I'm way too close to this battle engine and this could be bad if I fail. Then I did 5 points of damage to it. And I'm like, I'm a genius.
I'm the best.
And then I scored a few other scenario points the turn after I removed the battle engine, and he had to bring Grim forward to Mortality, my objective, because it was invasion. So I had to move Grim right up to 10 inches away from my objective to cast Mortality to kill it so that he wouldn't immediately lose on his turn. And then in quick succession, I Ice Caged Grim, blinded Grim, knocked Grim down, shot him with a Dragon's Breath rocket, and got Grim down to a 0-13 stat line. And
Can you go to 0?
I think 1's the minimum. Certain stats, 1 is the minimum. I
Okay,
don't
so-
remember which
No,
ones.
it must be able to, because I think, wasn't Harvey have a 0?
But 0.
No. Who's it? Wormwood's got a 0. No, he has no stat.
He has no stat, which is different.
so I got him either down to 0-13 or 1-13.
Sure.
And unable to tough. And
Well,
and then Hawk went in and just killed him. So that was round 1.
By the way, interjection is that American Gods Season 2 is scheduled to come out in 2019. The showrunners did depart due to creative differences, but they're still credited as executive producers, and Gillian Anderson was only contracted for 1 season, so her character has been pseudo-recast. I mean, it's kind of like the Doctor Who thing. Is it really a recasting of a character when you replace a character, but the character is different, but it's the same character, kind of?
But purposely different.
Right. So Gillian Anderson's character has been pseudo-recast, pseudo-replaced, and the showrunners are left. But it's coming out in 2019.
is it just like Becky from Roseanne?
No, it's less like Becky and Roseanne.
Because they did replace her, and then they ended up bringing back the original actress as a friend of the other person for the reboot show.
Nice.
Anyway,
All right. Round 2 was against the Culpists, and I played against Brian, who was playing Resheth with the Exalted theme, which is surprisingly good, just because it can hit very hard, and It's one of his anti-crix lists because 4 or 5 exalted under Rasheth feat will kill a Slayer.
You guys were the pair down, right?
No.
Oh, that's right. You guys dropped your first round.
Yep.
I forget who.
Yeah, David
they
beat
showed you- yeah, they were
Damaris,
good.
and Josh's dice failed him, so Keith...
You were almost a pair up, actually. The Culpist should have won round 1, except Celeste fucked herself out of winning by accidentally cheating. Because she moved Radagast to melee kill something to leave a space to feet forward Megalith to kill the opponent's Warcaster. And she moved up and went, crap, I'm out of melee range, I guess I'll shoot. And she missed. And then, like, midway through her opponent's next turn, they measured the melee range, and she was totally in melee range. She just never bothered to measure the 2 inches. So she illegally shot at something she was in melee range with and would have fucking killed with melee and missed. And that cost her the game.
Yeah, because
And they went 1 and 2, so if she had won, they would have been in the winner's bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then she would have been able to slide Megalith into for the surfboard kill.
So,
Anyway, go on.
yep. So that round I played Locke because it was kind of a list checking situation. I had actually played Silvestro into Steamin playing a very similar Rasheth Exalted list in the Shot at the Pieces, but Brian's second list was Xerxes 2 with a Hydra, and I didn't think I could kill it with the Silvestro list as it currently stands.
Sure.
So I had to play Locke just in case.
Right.
So I ended up having to play 6 Jacks into 30 Immortals, which would have been a long, drawn-out grind, but it turns out Locke can Jack Bullet Toro 15 inches. So
That'll learn ya.
Yep. So I just cleared out 2... so he had come up and Breath of Corrupted the Toro and knocked out its movement. So Locke came up, healed it, it rode the war forward, I cleared out the 2 Immortals in the way, shot Rasheth with a Dragon's Breath rocket for good measure, and then came in on the Rasheth at dice plus 8.
I need to buy a lock.
We discussed this before. I have one.
Yeah. An extra one?
No, I don't.
So I need to buy a lock.
You need to buy a lock.
What you
You
need...
said you had an Orion, but I don't remember you ever giving
I
it to me.
give you an Orion.
Did you give me an Orion?
I don't remember. What you need to do is have Andy build your lock.
Yeah, you should have me build it.
He built the Orion that he says he gave me.
Yeah.
On a related note,
I'll have to
Andy,
look.
do you want to pin 2 fingers for me?
Oh, for lock?
Yes.
Those fingers are almost
Like, I'm
too
actually...
small to-
Yeah, I'm actually debating... So she's got pincers on her big claws, and there's one of the 3 is a separate metal piece. And I'm debating if it's just going to be no, it's just a 2-finger pincer thing.
She's just throwing up a peace sign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Peace!
when I looked at the model itself, it looked like that those were they were too small. And it might almost be easier to model a new finger for it than it would be to pin it. I think it should be. It should hold fairly well with just a super glue tab.
It should hold well. It's just I'm horrendously abusive towards models. So, like I said, I think I just write off those 2 pincers because one's already fallen off.
Like I recently noticed that my Rask and my Rorsch are missing arms, and that's very upsetting to me.
Oh, because those were assembled by the
Those
beards.
Rask was by a beard and Rorsch was by Marshall.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were both painted by good painters, and I took care of those models. I don't know where those arms went, and that's very upsetting to me.
Yeah.
Like my unpainted stuff, I will just dump in a bucket. Like that's fine. But once
Sure.
something painted, I treat it pretty well, and I don't know how the hell they lost arms.
Yeah, that sucks. It's yeah. I should start up a model assembly commission page, which I talked about probably like 6 months ago that I never did.
A big part of a model assembly commission is assembling models.
I do.
Oh, that's true. The painting
commission.
a painting commission you
Painting
could not
commission,
do.
no.
Yeah. Assembling you do.
Assembling I can do in a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
It only took me like 7 months to get those Nist Hunters to Mr. Wonky.
I can do a model buying commission.
No, I'm not going to buy models for you.
No, I will. I'll do a business where I'll buy things for people.
Okay. And then you sell them to them?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
if you want like a $12 warrior model, it's like a $20 service.
Okay.
And that includes the cost of the model.
So you're like a GitHub for
Yeah.
miniatures?
Yeah. That seems fair. That seems legit. It's like ninja shopping, but not for like pre-releases at conventions. Just like I'll walk next door to the game store and buy it for you.
Nice. All right, round 3. We went into the Chicago team.
Yeah, Dragon Force. I got to pee.
Yep. So I ended up playing against Chad, who is playing Bredigus, and I dropped Lock again. This one was not a great game for me. I think Circle is actually a problem for Crucible Guard with what's out right now.
Yeah.
I think as more stuff comes out there, they're in a better spot. But right now, it's just they're very heavy on shooting dependence, and Circle can cause problems with that. Like my Sylvester list just flat doesn't work into Kruger 2.
Sure.
Because most of the guns in the army are range 6 or less.
Well, just shoot them from base to base.
Yeah.
Just have gunfighter.
So, but anyways, so I played Lock again. He went first. My turn 1, I made a mistake, and I just moved my Combat Alchemists up, but I didn't drop Clouds, so they weren't prowled. And then he had Wold Watchers come up and shoot 3 of them, and then I had 3 forests in the front of my army.
That's good.
Yeah, so that was painful.
I saw you deliver something on something and like kill some stuff, and that looked impressive. And then you came up and you had lost.
Correct.
So I
mean, I ended up getting a Toro extricated from the forest wall and went up and killed a bunch of stuff and threw some trancers in the way and forgot to ambush Hot Chuck and
oops.
Yeah. And then he feeded and did a decent amount of damage to me, and then I guess loaded up on power tokens. But I also got shoved horribly out of the zones, so there's just really nothing I could do about that.
Sure.
I think we might have accidentally played half of his turn on my clock, but it didn't matter. Like, I saw it and like, this looks really weird, but I've already lost, so it's not like this impacted the game whatsoever.
Sure.
It just meant it was over sooner. But even before that was when because I think it was just a counter charge and we might not have flipped it back.
Sure.
Because I don't think I went in the tank for that long. But like I said, it didn't matter whatsoever. So it is technically not your least favorite thing ever, which was weird thing happened and you heard about the next day.
Correct.
Because this one didn't matter. So that was my round 3.
Andy's shin found the table.
Yep. Then finally, and that one, Josh and Josh and John both won. So then we went 2-1 for that round. And then final round, we played against Travis's team.
Why are you taking Cheds out of the package when there's still one sitting out here?
These are my Cheds. You guys can have those.
Okay.
So I ended up playing against Dan Garces for the first time since we got rid of the Doyu bug.
Sure. Yeah. When you guys were always paired.
Correct. So we were both commenting on how it's actually been quite some time since we played. And that I should have dropped Locke because he was playing Kruger 1 and Kruger 2, but I just didn't feel like dealing with that again. So I dropped Silvestro, and counting on the fact that Danny loves playing Kruger 1. And he did. And it started out okay, but then it turns out that his entire army is Mat 8 with the ability to boost. So I lost a lot of Rocketmen. But Danny then forgot, despite a very clearly marked ammunition token that I explicitly had slid to the side so he could see. He forgot my suppressor had ammunition on it. Primaled Getarex charged in and immediately sidestepped 3 inches.
Oh, he had primaled it too.
Yeah.
I knew that he had charged in and thus wasted Getarex's activation. I didn't realize he had wasted 2 activations.
Yeah.
Rough.
So he did that. But also it meant that Kruger had actually come forward to kill a press ganger to clear the path.
Sure.
Then I channeled my inner Andy, walked Gorman 6 inches, threw a blind bomb, and had it deviate 3 inches to the 1 right onto Kruger.
Baby.
And then I shot Kruger to death with Skyborn up.
So I guess in fairness, Primal did not cost a second activation.
Correct.
Yes.
I thought about just like running like a Dragon's Breath rocket crewman up so that he would eat him next turn and then have another turn. But I had nothing to deal with the 2 units of Ravagers on my flanks because they had eaten all but 3 of the Rocketmen by that point.
Do all those models stay on the board for the rest of the game?
Yeah, they do.
But like I said, that was just one of those things where I'm like, all right, so... Because I've been trying to figure out how do I get Silvestro close enough to try for the crit blind on Stygian Abyss, and then I just drifted the blind bomb, and I'm like, all right.
That's easier.
Now you're down to defense 13. I got a shot. And I had loaded up the suppressor to charge in, but I was going to have to take a free strike from Getarex. But then I did so much damage to Kruger that 2 sprays I was able to shoot him twice with the sprays instead.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a 1 in 6 chance for something to drift the way you want it to. Yeah, actually, even more so. Sometimes the 2 and
No,
the 2 and
this
6
the
will
2 and 6 would not have done this.
No,
one.
this was I needed a 6 and I needed a 5 a 5 and 6 on the distance.
no.
Yeah, I needed it to drift max too.
Right, but drifting isn't D3. Drifting is D6 inches, but it caps at half the distance.
With-
so as long
with-
as you rolled a 3 or higher.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
So it's
yeah.
a 1 in 6, and then still only 2/3 of that. So it's it's
like
odds.
2 in 18, so 1 in 9.
yeah, so it's like under 10%.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd do it.
I know. 1 in 9 is 11.111. But
Sure.
the point is not high odds.
Correct.
I would do it.
I mean, 100% of the time it works in Andy's thing.
Correct.
And also, according to gym math, you had a 50% chance because either it worked or it didn't.
I miss Jim playing War Machine.
So it's a 50% chance it worked.
He's not wrong. Yeah, because either that worked or I lost.
Yeah, see?
It was a very binary.
2 options,
Yeah, it was-
50-50. Works or doesn't.
I mean, that sounds like good odds.
Yeah.
50%. 50%.
So, yep. So I ended up going 3 and 1.
Well, and I mean, non-joking odds,
Yeah.
like the either it works or it doesn't, shows the this is actual, like, strategy talk, War Machine strategy talk, / anything strategy talk. But when you have a 1 in 100 chance, well, what's that? We said it was 11%, right? Mm-hmm. That's terrible odds of working. 11% is very, very low odds. It's your 1 in 9. But if you are 100% losing if you don't go for it, those are the best fucking odds you will ever see in your life, and you should do it. And people don't go for 1 in a millions because they know they're very unlikely to succeed, but you have to look at your odds of winning if you don't go for it.
My favorite thing in Mark II is watch Keith lose against people who are going on 1 in 100 things just because he was so used to playing on the tournament circuit where no one took those odds.
And so he pushed so hard,
Yeah.
and these casual players are like, well, why, might as well. And Ravager shot drifts, and yeah.
I would. I mean, I would sometimes take those weird chances, especially if I was in a safer place. Like I would try to drift something into something,
I mean,
where it's not. I mean, it's not detrimental to the game. That is, I will always take. Those
And
different
safer's
shots.
fine. Like, you might as well when it's safe, but I'm talking about those desperation moments.
Yeah.
Where someone has no choice but to try, and that's the most dangerous thing, because that's when those 1 in 9s happen. They happen 0% of the time when they are not pushed hard enough to try it.
Correct. And it's a very important skill in War Machine is to know when you need to pivot to assassination to hopefully do it before you're at that point. But some people just get locked into their attrition plan and are like, I'm going to grind this out. And
Okay, I've been eating cheds for like the past 3 years now, just plain cheds. I've never tried them with like a little slice of cheese or something like that.
Yeah.
That cheese, the one I like with the cheds, is fucking amazing.
Try the other cheese on a ched and see if they complement each other. Because you were talking about
I'm
that
thinking
cheese
about it.
on something.
That would ruin the ched, I feel like.
It might, but there's only one way to find out.
Alright.
Well, there's
50
two ways to find
correct,
out.
it's a 50-50.
You can either try it or you can fund an in-depth research project where other people try it and you survey them. But this seems more
Get a
efficient.
special order of cheds
Yeah.
from Australia so I can...
And some control groups and
I'll say we'd have to work with David because he's a statistician.
yes, David would happily do your ched study.
I mean, he would just have a computer do the study for him.
And my experience with the event was I ran it and I was really tired and I still haven't pooped today.
Whose fault is that?
Either the Elks Lodge or mine for eating their food. It was all delicious. Mm-hmm. And I don't it's not like I'm achy, but I know that, that was not keep your regular food.
That bean burger they made for Banky was amazing.
It was. Vegetarian food can be really good. Like, spoiler alert, black beans and red bell peppers and garlic and onion. Those things taste great.
I legitimately just make black bean burgers once every 3 months or so because I have a good recipe for it. And I think in some cases I honestly, if I knew that black bean burger was an option converted to the burger, I would have gotten that.
Sure.
I thought it was better than the actual hamburger.
Yeah.
And that was like one of their first times ever cooking something like that too.
The guy just picked random shit and Googled
How do you cook it?
how do you make a veggie burger.
Yeah.
No, he did a really good job.
Yeah, I love the Elks Lodge. They're awesome.
Yeah.
It's if you get a chance to go to WTC, WITC, or even like Who's the Boss in December, or whenever we end up getting
November,
that
whenever.
scheduled.
Yeah.
It's just really good. It's a great place. I'm very happy that Travis lives nearby and Travis is a member. Or you're a member too, aren't you?
No, it's just Travis.
Or just Travis? Okay.
No, we are not. Yeah, Travis became a member because
To help dues.
member rates.
Yeah, member rates for rental is much better than.
Yeah. It was kind of our version of just like joining Sam's Club. Like pay your annual
And then
dues.
everybody else grabs a card and goes shopping.
Yes.
We don't have a Sam's Club in Madison anymore.
Not anymore. We have a Costco.
Which is like Sam's, but better.
Never go there.
It's like Sam's, but better.
Actually, I know where it is. I've just never been there. I know there's an IKEA nearby. We need to go to an IKEA to buy Crippled System furniture sometime.
Look, Blaqua is in our chat. I haven't talked to him in forever because I think he's still on Focus and Fury, and that place is a shithole. Does it still exist? Not Focus and Fury. I'm sorry, Five Fingers.
I know it has to because someone must have changed some setting because now I'm getting emails every so often saying a new topic started.
Oh man,
But I have not been on there
in
in
like 2 years.
Yeah, it's probably been 18 months for me.
Yeah.
I know no, actually it's got to be close to 2 years because I left during the election because it was just too toxic.
Yeah. That whole place is just toxic.
Yeah, I have no.
No.
It's not for me.
That's okay.
I try to stay out of those places of scum and villainy.
There's
It
a
was
correct
fun,
level.
and then the rest of our country became it too. And then
Yeah.
I could get the same like level of disgust and needing to take a shower with just the regular
Just by
news.
turn on the TV for 10 minutes, you get.
There's a correct level of freedom. And too much freedom becomes anarchy, and anarchy becomes the purge, and there's a level where you need a little bit of control, and there is not. Or you need the freedom to murder people so that when they get too free in a toxic way, you can just end their individual freedom with a bullet, and there's no banning on Five Fingers.
I'm
They
actually
need
still
like a vote to ban somebody, and like if 90%
So somebody
of
gets
people
voted off the island?
Yes,
Yeah.
you should be able to vote people off the island. That would
in
improve that
fairness,
forum
that's
hugely.
what happened to you.
No, I just left.
I mean, they would have voted 90% to ban you. But
Well, they couldn't.
that's true.
Like they couldn't.
I mean,
So
I'm
whatever.
also still pretty convinced.
Also, and that's only because I just decided to be equally toxic because there was a sociopath on there, and I'm like, fine, if this is what
Correct.
this place is going to be like, I will be like it too.
correct. I mean, it is a living embodiment of Lord of the Flies, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that website exists because Lust needs sociology research.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also because Focus and Fury forums are down because their domain doesn't exist anymore.
Sure, but they had some
Oh, did
control.
you stop renewing it?
No, I didn't get it. I never got it. I
You
probably
squat
should.
everything else.
I do not squat anything pertaining
Sure.
to other celebrities in the War Machine universe.
Not right now. You've let them expire.
I have.
You squatted a couple things, and then you didn't use them because you're too much of a softie.
I am too much
You're
of a
like, this will
softie.
be great, and then you never use them. Whereas I...
One was reserved in a slightly. I wasn't drunk, but it was definitely an entertaining moment over at the Christensen household.
Oh, some people have been banned finally on Five Fingers. Lust has actually started to put some control down.
Or someone stole his account.
Well, yeah, that's also fine. I didn't think he even gave himself the ability to ban people. That's actually fascinating. Yeah, no.
And also, I thought you reserved that one, Andy, as an insurance policy.
Was that? Well, kind of.
At the time, the person kind of...
At the time, we were feuding, and not really feuding. It was just ignoring. But we're good. We're on good.
It was
terms now.
harumphing.
Yeah, we're definitely on good terms now. Yeah.
Good times.
Try not to. I was gonna say something else to say something additional to that statement. Then I realized that would have just given away who I was harumping.
Yes. Yes.
It's like Tupac and Biggie, but with no guns.
Yeah, so no conspiracy. Was there a conspiracy about my thing? No, not really.
Not that you know of, but that's
Not
what
that I
makes
know
it a
of,
good
no.
conspiracy. We haven't told you
Oh.
yet. In theory.
Yep.
All right, so what else we got?
Nothing much else. I played some Necromunda today. I ventured into the Games Workshop area.
Yeah, but it's a Games Workshop Specialist game. It's fine, and it's going to be out of print soon.
no, not.
When have they ever not done that?
Well, I mean, every time.
All the other times Necromunda has been started up and then killed, they started it up quite well.
No, actually, there was. I mean, the original version of the game, there was the specialist version, but they didn't actually expand on the game at all. They just released the PDF.
Sure.
So I mean, it wasn't like, hey, here's Necromunda Part 2.
Do I count this as my point yet?
Yeah.
No, it's not your point yet. No, I don't know. It was kind of weird. So I was playing against one of our locals here that loves the GW landscape and plays the GW landscape all the time, and it coming from playing Guild Ball and War Machine, it was slightly annoying.
How loose it was?
How fucking loose that game is, or how loose their games are. But it did play nice. I mean, I had one of my my gangers walk up, throw a grenade, and then totally go against an Andy drift and went right 6 inches back to me.
Sure.
And hit my guy in the foot, and then pinned myself down.
He just dropped a net on himself, basically.
I just threw it. Well, I threw a grenade out, and then it exploded on himself, hurt himself, knocked himself down, and then the other two people that he threw the grenade at shot him.
Well, he deserved it.
I mean, that's what you get when you can't count to 3.
That's what it appeared to be. But then
He like just threw and it just did the thing where it just stayed right there above his hand. And
you
just
do it
fell
like
straight.
you do for dogs and
Like-
that when you go to throw something and you go like just drop it as you throw it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what happened.
Or, the Tom Brady fumble.
Yeah, there was no tuck rule for my poor guy with the grenade. But he did. He did the next turn. He recovered. He stood up and actually hit 3 people with the grenade. The next turn, he's like, "I know how these things work now," and then threw it.
A grenade blew up on his feet and then 2 people shot him and he's like, "Oh, I'm fine."
Yeah, I was playing Goliaths.
I would say this is 40K. I mean that
Well-
sounds perfectly reasonable.
Matt's,
You know what isn't perfectly reasonable? Women's in my 40Ks. What the heck?
I don't want to respond.
Did you see that shit all over the internet?
I mean, 10 years ago when I played GW, that shit was all over the
Yeah, and it's still there. Like last week, like Bella Lost Souls was like, "Hey, it's because they're starting to have like
Why
more
are you
female
giving
characters."
Texans viewership?
It was just hilarious. The comments of these things.
Why are you giving Texans stuff? Clicks.
I didn't. Listen. It's worth it for the comments drama.
But anyway, so
The Texans.
I threw a grenade. It caused a whole lot of havoc.
It is
Matt's-
the second worst state.
Matt's leader was poking her head around a corner, so I needed obviously I'm playing a GW game. I need a 6 to hit on a single D6. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. In which then I promptly almost killed his leader in one shot to the face. I liked it, and I'm excited to play it some more because I really like that whole mechanic of you have your war band, they gain experience, and they get more stuff. It's something I wish Iron Company.
GW will continue to support it, and they'll have
Yeah.
other Necromunda stuff on the wall right next to the Space Hulk expansions and Blood Bowl teams.
There's a ton of stuff.
I mean, the one nice thing about it is, yeah, it's GW, so it's goofy and loose and very cinematic, but it's, one of their side games, so everyone's approaching in the correct perspective, which is, let's have some fun, not, let's put a $2,000 purse on it.
Yeah.
They have been. I mean, they've been very supportive of their specialist games for the last couple.
Yeah, because they have a
couple years
CEO
now.
who isn't trying to sell it to Hasbro and has realized that, it actually, those specialist games make them a ton of money because they draw people back in that they pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I had a lot of fun with it. I've actually thought about painting up a gang. Not very well though.
You haven't thought very well, or you're not going to paint it very well?
I'm not going to paint it very well.
I mean, you're just not going to paint it, but...
That's very true too.
So you're not going to paint it badly.
Correct. I might.
He will not paint it to a... let's see, how do I phrase this correctly, get the English correctly? He is going to not paint it to a Golden Demon standard.
Correct. Yes. Golden Demon standard. It is not.
But the level of not painting that you will do will be Golden Demon standard equivalent.
Correct.
You are incredibly good at not painting.
Golden Demon standard.
You are Golden Steamin standard level good. You are Cleveland Steamin level good at not painting models to Golden Demon standard Cleveland's.
I like golden steamers.
Yeah. Okay, I can actually visualize what that would be, and I don't think you want a Golden Steamer. I don't.
It's so wet.
Doesn't that involve like a freezer or being outside as well?
I don't think a Golden Steamer. Well, it wouldn't need to.
It could.
It could. Well, once you involve the freezer, now it's the Alaska pipeline, right? The freezer. Once the freezer's involved, it's an Alaska pipeline.
Yes.
So, like a Golden Steamer, you don't really need anything apart from just a willing target
Correct.
or a willing dispenser, depending on which level.
Did we just seriously make something up?
Probably not. Probably not. You can feel free to Google Golden Steamer.
I'll do it on my phone.
But there's no way that those two things have never been combined, and if they've been combined, that has to be the term for it.
Exactly what we're thinking about what it is.
Well, yes, obviously. As soon as we said Golden Steamer, we knew what we knew. Everyone knew.
All right, so far when I typed in golden, it's defaulting to golden mushroom level 12.
Okay, sure. Yeah, makes sense.
It is a previous...
Yeah, so you've been playing a lot of Toad. That makes sense.
Yeah, 'cause golden mushrooms are hard to
I
find.
thought it was a Let It Die reference.
Golden State Killer.
Sure,
Golden
sure.
STEA. Golden Steer. Golden
No.
Stella.
STEA.
Now STEA is Golden Steak. Golden Steamer.
Yep. The M did it. The M got you there.
Nope, it's a bakery.
That is unfortunate. Just go to that bakery and be like, hey, can I get it? Oh, I grossly misunderstood what this establishment provides.
It is a lot of places.
I mean, it's
a
probably
Chinatown restaurant,
Yeah, I was gonna
so-
say it's in the random Chinese restaurant name dictionary as well.
Yeah, where they just take a type of metal and a type of verb and yeah.
I will say the Golden Steamer Bakery that's in 143A Mott Street, New York, has got a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So it appears that they are very good. They are closed now, unfortunately. But it is
All right, well,
8 o'clock over there.
on UrbanDictionary.com, Golden Steamer is indeed recognized and is indeed what we all think it is.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, but it's not simultaneous. It's the steamer and then the golden to like you're playing Crossfire, the board game.
My girl asked me for a Golden Steamer.
No. I read it too, and there's lines even we shouldn't cross. Other people can go to Urban Dictionary and search for Golden Steamer. It is what you think it is, how you think it is.
With a quote of what I thought it was.
Yes. So,
if you wish to experience this, find a willing participant and
I
some
mean,
saran wrap.
you could mix that with the Alaska Pipeline, and you might actually get steam.
sure, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to drink more mead.
All right, so Nathan,
Yes.
I have a different topic that we can discuss.
Thank God.
What? So this is a board game idea that I came up with that I need to run it past you. Which, this has an equally awkward introduction. Because I was watching a Netflix series about 2 weeks ago now.
A Golden Steam?
No, about Hitler's henchmen.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
So like Goering and Himmler and Heydrich and Goebbels and those guys.
Yeah, all the best.
Marbles.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm watching this and just watching them like do this, do what henchmen in an authoritarian regime do, and basically infight and stab each other in the back, and basically all of them hate each other, kind of thing.
Sure.
And
They were all jealous of Goering's good looks.
So are you?
before he got fat.
Can
Well,
I
I was
take
just
a
being
wild
sarcastic.
stab?
Yep,
Can I take a wild stab?
you can.
Is this like diplomacy?
No, well, no, I'm thinking much more lighthearted. But I was watching this, I'm like, this would actually be an interesting setting type thing for like an auction type game. So you cartoonize these characters because you have to figure out how to make this a little more lighthearted and funny.
Sure.
But
Okay.
you're basically
Well, I mean, you just make it like a goofy emperor, and you're all
Sure,
like, you
sure,
leave
sure.
them,
Well, I
and
mean,
all
that-
you need is a despot and then advisors.
Throw it in roam.
Correct.
I
I mean, and then-
it would be a little more palatable.
Well, I mean, and also
but-
that way you can pull in, stuff from Stalin, and there's other, people you can pull in. But then,
Stalin.
the main objective is you're like bidding on different like contracts and favors and stuff like that to get points up, and then you can have like some sort of mechanic where it's like, oh, and now we've declared war, and everything goes to shit.
Sure.
So I mean, that's how you even get your
And,
clock
and the
mechanic.
whims of it, like
Yeah.
like certain things that you could be in charge of doing could become more or less desirable based on the whims of the leader. Black already brings up that junta is a similar.
Yeah, that's what I was just
yeah.
about to say. Sorry.
No, I'm good.
I was seriously thinking Huta the whole time.
But junta also includes the ability for you to be the guy as well. Whereas in this, it's kind of just nobody. In this, you wouldn't get to be the leader.
No,
it's
I
always
think that would
trying to
just be-
curry the favor of
Correct.
the leader.
Yeah.
Be like the yeah.
Yeah. Because it's more of just how do I loot the system.
I feel like my conversation here is not being helpful at all.
That's fine.
I'm just agreeing and repeating what you guys are saying. I'm going to go into my head like this makes sense.
It's fine. We'll just give you Nathan's clock necklace, and it'll be good.
My clock necklace? Oh, but I can be Flavor Flav?
Yeah.
Boy!
Oh man, there's a Flavor Flav alarm clock, and that's great.
One of these years, I will actually get it made in time for ATC.
So
Like, I've tried 2 years now, and both times it has not come together correctly.
there are games that I could see easily being rethemed that have mechanics along those lines. Like, for example, James Ernest, who right now is in the board gaming news because he's the one who did the Trogdor board game that's on Kickstarter right now, which
That fucking miniatures look awesome.
sure, I will never play that board game.
No?
I will never play that board game because I understand that our friend society of gamers, every game of that will be 45 minutes of everybody just saying Bernadette over and over again because they think they're funny. There's zero way you get to just enjoy the game. It's going to be nothing but stale references ad nauseum and drunken giggling, and it's like, I get it.
I mean, that's
everybody
not
else has already made the joke.
That's not true. You could, like, play with Nick's friends. They're all too young to have watched any of that.
That's possible. But
I do just kind of going off there. The miniatures that they have for there, and the ones, the cleverness.
I like the
of-
wooden ones better than the plastic ones.
Yes, the meeples.
Yeah.
I like the
flame
cleverness
on
of the flames that fit right on their shoulders. It looks adorable.
And their most recent update was a full-on episode of Homestar Runner. So you should watch it. It's like a 5-minute long video where they're all meeples. Yeah.
I should look up to see how much this game is because I've been
fine.
back in cheap Kickstarters,
Yeah.
and if it's cheap,
Go
I
ahead
might
and
do
get it. I look forward to never playing it. Like I said,
it'll
it's
look-
probably
it looks-
fine, but
it
I
looks
know...
pretty right here.
It looks stupid simple though too. I mean,
it's
it's
probably-
literally you're just moving models, and it'd be
And there's
instead
nothing
of
wrong with
flipping
that.
over tiles, it'd be much easier just to put like a token down next to it.
The game's
ruined.
probably fine. So again, that's what I'm saying. James Ernest, who originally he did cheap-ass games, which was
Okay.
a cool concept because they were like 99% of a game is shit you already have, right? Like, dice are expensive, fake money is expensive, this is all expensive, and so his games just came with none of that, and
Correct.
he's like, go buy your own.
Yeah, just go buy a $5 copy of Monopoly.
Right, go buy a $5 copy of Monopoly, and now you have dice and you have play money, and now I don't have to put in every game, so I can charge you $5 for
And
some...
it comes in a little box.
It was envelopes first. They were little 5x9 paper envelopes. They didn't even have he upgraded the boxes later. But anyway, one of his games that was part of the cheap-ass one, and then it was reprinted as higher quality, was Lord of the Fries, which was part of the Fridays series, which was Fridays is the fast food restaurant of the damned, and all the employees there are zombies, and they were great fun games. But Lord of the Fries was an order would come in, and they'd say, I want this sandwich with these ingredients and these side dishes, and then you would bid and try to fulfill that order to satisfy the client. And so that kind of a mechanic could easily be done and rethemed to have it be demands from the God Emperor.
Yeah, where everybody's got an ingredient they have to add to it.
Like corruption and nepotism.
Yeah.
Making a mess. I'm gonna have to wash this tablecloth.
I look forward to seeing my pile of crumbs here next week.
No, it's not good. Clean it.
That's a good pile of crumbs. You marked your territory with Cheds.
Yes, I
I
did.
did.
It will be
Should've
gone
gave
because
you a fucking-
Andy will vacuum it up with his mouth.
Oh.
Nom nom Cheds. Yeah, no, that's a good theme for a game. I don't think it's Junta-esque except without the ability to be the head guy, and so yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, the thought would be you're not trying to become the head guy; you're just trying to amass power and survive the inevitable fall.
Right.
So,
Holy
And
shit.
there could almost be like a point in the game, speaking of the survive the inevitable fall.
yeah. I mean, that's the clock mechanic.
Right, the clock. Well, there's a point where you need to kind of separate yourself from the regime and get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Like at that point, it's actually bad to continue to be tied to this failing regime, and you need to run off to Venezuela.
Yeah. Well, there's that. I mean, there's kind of like the before the war period where it's just straight power, and there's like the early war stuff where you can keep amassing power, but you're gonna be like hurting things because they're like, well, we couldn't make this new tank, but I like guns and cash, so I'm gonna take this instead. Yeah, and then late war is full on. Where do I buy a fake passport?
Right. Yep. Yeah, so it almost becomes like the Dungeon Explorer games. You have to get in, get the high dungeon, and get out because it's whoever escapes with. Well, you leave with the rope, and if everybody else died, you won because your rope was the most valuable treasure.
That could be it too. You could be. The whole idea of the game itself could be you are there to help perpetuate the government to continue on, but you're also secretly building up your stash so you can escape.
Yeah, like that the regime is not
Correct.
permanent. Like this isn't going to last, right? But you want to amass as much power and enjoy life now and pad your bank account as nice as it can, but get the fuck out of Dodge before it's too late so that you can retire on a beach in South America and avoid the hangings.
Yep. Well, and I was just remembering.
Yeah,
like
take the Nazis out.
Correct. Yeah, more lighthearted and cartoony. But one of the episodes they were talking about how I think it was Borman signed Himmler up for some task just to make him look bad because he knew he couldn't do it. Yeah. And I'm like, at that moment, I'm like, this is a board game.
Yeah.
So you can get the $1,800 pledge for Trogdor.
Yeah. No.
It looks
So I get my own actual Trogdor, not even an animated, the actual thing.
They genetically engineer a dragon for you.
dragon with one beefy arm.
Yeah.
No, it's all made by Wormwood Studios.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you don't
Wormwood,
need it.
Oh, okay.
they
All right.
they do excellent. It's beautiful looking things, but fuck, are they expensive?
Well, it's like I kickstarted a card game called Shipwreck Arcanum, which is really good, actually. I enjoyed it. It's a nice co-op communication game along the lines of Hanabi, but it was like a $10 game, and so I kickstarted because fuck it. I mean, even if it sucks, $10. I'll wipe my ass with $10 because I'm an idiot and bad with money, right? This was $25.
Yeah.
I did not need to buy this, but whatever. So I'm with $10, whatever. But they had a backer where instead of the cards, they were wooden, planks. The whole is like a 50-some card deck of wooden slats that were engraved with the art and everything. It was sexy as hell, but it was like $600.
Oh yeah,
And I'm like, and it probably was worth $600, but I did not need a $600 copy of Shipwreck Arcanum.
Holy fuck! I just realized that they made was that 36,000?
Sure. You had to
'Cause it
make
was
mumbly
20
sounds to read the...
Well, I had to think because it was 1,800, and then they have 20 backers
Oh, on that level?
on that level.
Wow. Wow, people, you do not need a Wormwood copy of the Trogdor board game.
I mean, if it was, I'm sure it's probably a cheap game overall.
Yeah.
The first one was $40, and that seems reasonable for that style of game.
It is. It's a reasonable board game price, and I won't begrudge anybody giving $40 to... I like James Ernest, and I like the Brothers Chap. So, by all means, give them $40
this weekend.
Yeah. By all means, give $40 to those guys. Buy the Trogdor game. By all means. I will say by all means several times to reiterate the fact, go ahead. I won't stop you.
Nathan will allow it.
But
The wooden
I ain't
meeples
going
are-
to play it with you.
The wooden meeples are much better than the plastic pieces.
the plastic.
Ugh. That looks horrible.
Yeah, there's something cute. It's almost like practical effects versus CGI, where the lower quality, quote unquote. I mean, I won't go deep into quality, but practical effects, even though you can tell it's fake, feels more real, and there's a charm to it.
Yeah, because it's actually taking up space.
Well, yeah, because you have practical effects, bad CGI, and then good CGI starts coming
Yeah.
back up the curve.
And even when you
Yeah.
have like great CGI that like you can't even tell it's CGI and it's flawless, there's something charming about practical effects.
Correct.
There's something, you see the
Well, it's because-
KY
somebody-
jelly
well-
when the thing's face breaks
Well, it's
open and you're like,
because the thing with really good CGI is it's perfect. And practical effects will never be perfect.
Right.
And that's why you can notice really good CGI because your brain instinctively knows that it shouldn't be perfect.
I wish
Sure.
somebody would have told that to George.
Gershwin?
no, to Lucas.
I mean, actually, I can't
I
even
mean,
say it was
nobody
bad
told
CGI.
anything to Lucas because Lucas didn't listen to anybody anymore.
Yeah. I was gonna say I can't. He just used bad CGI, but for '98 and '99, that was decently good CGI.
It just counterpoint no. There is a great clip in I forget which episode of Red Letter Media it is, but they're talking about
It's just
that-
that CGI had a quantum leap forward like right afterwards.
no.
Or which
Because they show a shot of the Phantom Menace Jabba, who looks fucking terrible.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
Oh, yeah, sorry.
they cut to unrelated shot of the T-Rex from Jurassic Park that came out like 2 years earlier.
Oh yeah,
No, it's
okay.
actually even much earlier.
Probably
than
more,
that.
like
Actually,
4 or 5
this
years.
is
92, I think, is.
93 versus 99. You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about the Phantom Menace. Yeah.
Compare that T-Rex to that Jabba and go, holy shit,
Yeah.
Lucas.
Sorry, I was thinking Attack of the Clones,
Sure, yeah,
which
that's
actually had decent CGI and just no
Black
story.
points out that Toy Story 1 is kind of unwatchable. The humans in Toy Story 1 are really, really rough. Although if you want to enjoy the rough humans in Pixar movies, you watch Tin Toy, one of their earliest shorts, and there is a baby in it that will haunt your nightmares until you kill yourself to escape it.
But, yeah. The nice thing, though, is that they knew their limitations on humans in Toy Story, so that's why you never got
That's
to
why
see
they did
it.
toys.
Yeah, they never saw their face either. You just saw, like, just movements of arms and...
There's
and
other
walks.
faces and stuff.
You don't see their faces.
Yo, you totally do. You see
Oh,
Sid and
oh,
Andy,
you
you
do
see them
see
all
Sid.
the time.
It's the mom.
You don't see the mom, but you see the kids. You definitely see the
Correct,
kids. You
because
see Sid and Andy.
well, because they knew one of their limitations, so they couldn't do hair.
But you see them very little.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have crew cuts.
Yep.
Instead of long hair like the mom. That's a good point. Yeah, the hair
well,
thing.
it's because I remember.
They're
Was it
Sully.
Monsters, Inc.
Incredibles or I think it was
yeah.
Monsters, Inc.
See the test for Violet's hair.
Yeah.
Because Brad Bird insisted they give her long hair. They're like, please God, can she not have long hair? He's like, no, long hair.
Yeah, they had to rewrite the rendering system to do it.
Yeah. The shots of her glitching out and her hair just like shooting in all directions like needles is great.
Well, it's like the test things with Sully and Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
When they were trying to test with him in his main. That actually looks really. It looks really nice. It's not 1800 nice. Sorry, Dan, you can't see it.
Oh, the wormwood thing. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's not $1,800 nice,
Well,
but
it-
it's nice.
Even if it was, like, there's a thing where something can be worth what it costs and still
Not worth it.
not be worth it, right? God, there was something I remember us specifically talking about this with, where I said, I didn't deny that it was worth that much money, but fuck, I'll remember later.
It's a
Yeah.
life.
When you're driving home asleep, you'll remember it.
Oh, what's the hooch hauler?
Yeah, it was the hooch hauler. Thank you, Black. Loyal listener. Yeah, the hooch hauler is 100% costed appropriately.
Correct.
But holy fuck does it cost too much. Right? And those are not antonyms. They can both be true.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Black.
It's amazing seeing how many people who complained about how much it is and how many hooch haulers there's out there. But I think the funny thing though is
My favorite part was when I convinced Quimby to buy one.
I haven't seen anybody really complain about anything about Black Anchor.
Well, that's because
In a
we
while.
mostly talk to Americans.
Yeah.
That's true too. I have seen somebody post that they some of the extra tax that they had to pay for import,
Correct.
and that sucks for outside the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still maintain that that's not necessarily privateers' fault.
And fair trade, in exchange for that, they don't live in Hellland.
Correct.
So they got that going for
Wait,
them.
hold
Correct.
on. They don't live in... Well, I guess they do not live in Quebec. We've already covered
Yeah.
this earlier this episode. I was say, were you guys around when McWaters was talking about playing War Machine in Quebec?
No.
I think I caught the very end of the conversation.
It is awful because I mean it's Quebec, so like 90% of the people there refuse to speak English to people, even though they can, because they're like, we took power and made it illegal for you to speak only English. So like he was talking about how their store has to manually relabel everything they sell so that it has French labels.
Yep.
Because it is illegal to sell product in Quebec if it's not labeled primarily in French. But then also, like, the store in Montreal is fine, but, like, if they go travel to anywhere else in Quebec, he's been at stores where he's the only person who speaks English as a primary language.
Yeah, it's like it's like if the stereotypical Portland people had their own language and forced you to speak it.
And actually had power.
Yeah.
And, like, blew people up.
Stereotypical Portland people.
Like,
You never watched
Portlandia.
Portlandia?
No, I have not.
So take the people...
I know the...
So take the crazies down on State Street and make an entire city of them.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's just filled with hippies?
Yeah, it's filled with what your grandparents think liberals are.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just
no.
like... Yeah.
I know that I like a couple of the actors that are in it. One of them went over to Last Man on Earth
Sure.
for a couple episodes. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, Quebec is terrible.
Okay.
It's like the worst part of Texas plus a different language.
It's all the, we could separate if we wanted to of Texas, plus the smugness of making you speak French.
Yes. And unlike our separatist movements who just make a lot of noise, they've actually like done full on let's blow shit up because we're mad. The stretches. So
To actually try to separate them?
yes,
Or, okay.
like they actually had a full on terrorist organization going for a few years in the 70s.
Yeah.
Jesus. Wow.
But I mean, they also do have the world's maple syrup reserve, so I guess, and poutine. So I guess they're not all bad, just all bad.
Side note, over the course of this episode, I have thought of and forgotten 4 recommendations.
We should probably get to those Zappity Grumbles.
No, right now I'm in the middle of forgetting. Yeah, we can do Zappity Grumbles. I'll remember a new recommendation at
Scroll
some
up.
point.
There was
Yeah.
a question.
Yep, I did see it. And
Actually, I think there was 2.
There was.
There
There were
was-
2 back-to-back.
2 back-to-back. So what board, tabletop, or social game would you want to make a movie in the same vein as Clue out of?
I mean, we could do Cards Against Humanity. Then it would just be a snuff film.
Like, actually, like, do a match and have that be an episode, be a scene, and, yeah. Then you just get movie 43, right? Movie 43 is just Cards Against Humanity, the film.
I mean, I could say that, it's a game that's very loosely based, takes a lot of inspiration from Cards Against Humanity, is the $1 Million Butt guys from Rooster Teeth.
They have $1 Million butts?
It's you get
Is that like
$1
$1 Million Baby, but instead of a boxer, she's a butt model?
No, it's $1 million
was
but
the porn.
so
Yeah.
it's a scheme
There
thing.
probably is $1 Million Baby porn, isn't there?
Oh, probably.
Gotta be a porn parody.
I mean, yeah, but $1 Million butt is where you get $1 million, Nathan. But
Yes.
for the
Yes.
rest of your life,
Yes.
you poop
Yep. Sure.
raisins
Sure.
all the time.
Yeah, like, when you say all the time, do you mean just a constant trickle?
Just a constant trickle.
Sure, whatever.
Raisins.
Fine, fuck it. That's fine.
That's what it is. And
I don't know. $1 million might not be enough for that. For the inconvenience of that.
Inconvenience nothing. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll just wear, like...
A diaper?
No, I'll just wear, like, open shorts and just leave raisins behind. I don't care.
But they smell like shit.
That's fine. So it's like giraffe poop is like rabbit turds, little
Yeah,
pellets?
yeah.
Whatever, fuck you.
But if you would eat them, they taste like raisins.
I'm not going to eat them. I'm just going to leave them everywhere.
Okay.
You can deal with it. You can eat them if you want to.
But that-
I got $1 million.
Just don't put them on a tread.
But I mean so to kind of go with the question there, they already have a show that's like that for $1 million butt, which is a very entertaining show.
What was that recommendation I was thinking of that I was going to recommend?
No, I don't know.
Damn.
Would anybody else have a different
There was a
name?
porn parody I saw in Select a Video once called Black Cock Down. It was right next to Cuckoo for Cocoa Cocks, and my first wife and I were in there, and we debated for a long time which was a better interracial gay porn movie title, Cuckoo for Cocoa Cocks or Black Cock Down.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Cox. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that one.
Damn it, fucking
That's
A.
a better one.
I'll message Judy and know that she got 2 more votes. I love when it's a parody. I love the Edward Penis Hands and the Star Hordes. I love the effort to find the pun in Black Cock Down. Although I do not dispute that Cuckoo for Cocoa Cox.
Cocoa Cox is...
It's got the alliteration. That's what
It does.
That's going to get us cocked.
Good old Cuckoo for Cocoa Cox.
That's going to get us cocked off of Twitch. So no other social game? I mean, like a Resistance one would be kind of interesting, but a Resistance made into a movie would be kind of...
Like, anything is fine as long as you just lean whole hog into it. If you are willing to have that moment where the alien ship shoots the giant red pegs, I don't care what game you pick. You make a Jenga movie where rectangular chunks of a skyscraper are being knocked out of the thing and the Rock has to rescue people before the skyscraper crumbles. I'll take that.
Yeah, there's a giant wrecking ball.
And it's knocking out like a third of a level every time just because for some reason that's how the building was built.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
You just have to
Don't
embrace
question
it.
There was just a shipping crate tower.
Yeah. Like, I don't care what game it is as long as you find that iconic thing and lean into it. Have a giant Pop-O-Matic bubble, right? Like, just have something recognizable.
You could have like a giant anamorphic Mr. Bucket.
Sure, yeah. Mr. Bucket.
Yep.
I'm Mr. Bucket. Put your balls in my mouth. I'm Mr. Bucket. Your parents aren't in the house. I'm Mr. Bucket. That's how the song went, right? Is that not how the song went?
No, that's not how the song
That's how my uncle used to sing it.
There
There was a second one.
No, I was just glancing down. I thought there's somebody had responded to something.
I think someone did, but
But that's fine.
all right.
It's on the Arctic Circle.
Fuck was my recommendation?
So, second question: what is your favorite WTF moment from a TV show?
I have 2.
You can scroll down there.
One that was extremely frustrating because I had to wait a goddamn year. It was more of a cliffhanger than a WTF, so I don't know if it counts, but it's still worth throwing out there, which is Breaking Bad, Hank on the toilet. I won't say anything more for people who haven't watched Breaking Bad, but fuck ending an episode on that scene and making me wait a year for him to finish shitting.
It was like a year and a half.
Whenever I have a friend who's marathoning it, I tell him, when you get to Hank taking a dump, you have to stop for a year. Because that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
And then when they get there, they come up to me and they're like, I'm so sorry you had to wait a year after that episode.
I really wish at the end of that episode you heard a plop.
Just he looks up, he just, bloop.
I mean, it would have to like full on Sopranos and just go black.
Yeah, go black and we just hear a plop.
So quick Gwent interjection. There's a card, Johnny, who's a godling from Witcher 3, and his card art is him. He lives in a swamp.
Okay.
And his card art is just him taking a shit. It's just him squatting in the middle of the swamp, and it's hilarious. But the premium art, they're animated things, and originally there used to be a little plop sound effect, like, as it hit the water.
Sure.
In the Midwinter update around Christmas, they took that sound effect away.
Aww.
And the community was up in arms. They want Johnny's shit back. Because now it's just a dude squatting in a swamp for no reason. Like, why is he squatting?
See ripples in that?
Yeah. You see Siri in the background. Good old Siri. But yeah, you used to hear boop. Siri is Geralt's, not daughter. She's technically Ymir's daughter, adopted daughter. Geralt's kind of like a father figure to her. He's her mentor, whatever. The point is, Siri's the best. The point is, Johnny doesn't shit anymore. That's what the topical thing is. My second one that was actually a what the fuck moment that redeemed an entire goddamn season of a TV show was, and whatever, spoiler, sorry, Angel, the spinoff from Buffy. I don't know if either of you watched it.
I did not participate in the Buffy. I might participate in the second round.
But a character dies.
Sure.
And then it's already been established in the Angel and Buffy mythos that heaven and hell are actual places. I mean, there's demons, so obviously there's heaven and hell, whatever. So they bring her back for the next season, but she has amnesia, the tired old trope of having amnesia, and it's the worst goddamn thing. And it drags on for like 10 fucking episodes, amnesia, and it's the worst goddamn season of anything ever. And then at the end of an episode, she fucking murders a main character because she was faking it the whole time, and she's really just a psychopath now. And there was no amnesia. There's just surprise. She's the villain of the season. And she just stabs someone through the neck and then says, yeah, fuck you, I was faking. And then the episode ends. And you're like, what? And it retroactively redeems the entire first half of the season. It's just unfortunate that without knowing that moment was coming, it is a really shit first half of a season. But rewatching it, you're like, oh, that lying bitch. But yeah, I remember watching that episode, and we just like sat there in stunned silence staring at our television.
I've done so much binge watching on shows. It's hard. It's hard to, like, when you're watching shows on a regular schedule, like you're going to see it every Sunday or something like that. You're able to spend the entire week absorbing it, maybe watching it again, But when you're binge watching, I have a hard time just catching it all. I don't really have a what the fuck moment.
Yeah, I'm trying.
It's so good. The two of it's her and another character being chased around by a monster. It's actually Angelus, the evil version of Angel, and the other character just goes, "Oh my God, he's gonna kill us!" And she goes, "Yeah, I know. That's why I let him out," and then just stabs her through the neck. It's so awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, I have a hard time thinking of a sequence like that would match that. I don't really have any.
Dawn in Buffy is another great example. 90 Clitty and Nick's talking about. They did a great job. It was a fourth wall fuck with the viewer thing. And again, neither of you watched Buffy, so this will mean nothing. Or you did watch Buffy? You like for a second you leaned forward, like maybe it's Buffy not Angel, but
No, I was at grade school when Buffy was on.
still you could rewatch it. I've watched The Rifleman, and I was not even sperm at that point. But
I know one.
yeah, one coming cool. But season 5, like the season that starts. And the first episode and everything, and it's Buffy having dinner with her mom and her little sister and talking about this and that, and sends her sister Dawn off to school, and the whole episode and this, and her sister comes on an adventure. She never had a fucking little sister. In the first 4 seasons, there was no little sister. But as of the pilot of season 5, she's just there, and she's apparently always been there, and everyone has always interacted with her and has known her since birth, and she's never been in the fucking show.
So it's like what's his name? Poopy McButthole?
It's like Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like Mr. Poopy Butthole if at the end of the episode Mr. Poopy Butthole did turn out to be a parasite. Except he doesn't, so it doesn't make sense. But yeah, so it turns out like halfway through the season that Dawn is a falsely implanted memory and she never was there until that episode and so on. But the way they do it, just everyone's like, yep, here's Dawn. She's always been here. What do you mean, viewer? Of course she's always been here. It's exactly like Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Like Seven from Married with Children?
Yeah. That was a good brain fuck.
Mine actually was, and it's not a spoiler because it's been out forever, and it's actually already been something that I've already talked about in the podcast is Snape.
Sure.
Snape's whole redemption storyline.
Oh, that's right, because you only watched the movies.
I only ever watched the movies. I didn't pay attention to the books, and I am so glad for it because if I would have known about Snape going into the movies, I probably would have been looking forward to that sequence.
I mean, no, you would have just dealt with it like we did over 12 fucking years.
But where that blindsided me. I mean, that was easily probably one of the coolest things that I've ever seen in a movie sequence. Is when he was revealed as being basically Harry Potter's protector since the beginning. And you're like, what? What?
Well, so the last 3 books I bought the day they came out and just read them cover to cover. And in at least one case, my room at home was in the basement at the time. And then I went upstairs and my mom was like, why are you up this early? I'm like, what do you mean early?
This is late.
Yeah.
It's not that moment, but my Snape thing was the first book I underestimated. Like, it's a kid's book, right? And, there's that mean old Snape. He's the villain. And because it's a kid's book, I just assumed he would be. And so when it was Quirrell, I was indeed caught off guard. Yeah. Whereas if it had been an adult novel, I would have known that that was a red herring. And so it double bluffed me.
But, I mean, the fact that it dragged me through, was it 9 movies? Because there's technically 7, 8, 9?
8.
8 and 9.
There's 7 books, and one of them is split in half, so that only adds
because it turns out you can cut about 4 pages of content from the last book before it just falls apart.
Sure.
Yeah. Whereas you can cut 1,000 pages of content from Order of the Phoenix and it's still fine.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, they dragged me through all those movies, and you know that turn is, and that's kind of the reason why I'm choosing. Well, not because I used to read all the time, but I just don't read that much anymore.
Book 2 and Book 5 are hard to get through.
Oh, I'm mainly choosing to, if I'm watching a series, not to read the book because I am enjoying the experience I'm having with the show. Like The Expanse, I know a lot of my friends have suddenly, like Brian and folks, have already started reading all the books in that. So they know what's all going to happen in The Expanse. They already know after this season has ended where things are going. But
Right.
I have no fucking clue. And I'm excited for that.
And Arctic Circle's asking at what point did you throw in the books through the wall, and that was book 6.
So, book 5 is indeed a tough read because holy shit, like
It was both easier and harder to read being that age when I read it.
right. So the thing is, like,
Yeah.
it is a fairly well written version of the internal working of an emo teenager. But you know what's fucking terrible to slog through is a fairly accurate rendition of the internal thoughts of a emo teenager.
Oh, so
like,
it's just Harry during
it's just 1,000 pages of Harry
Harry-
moping,
Yeah,
"Oh, woe is me."
It's Harry going through puberty.
Yeah, and it's well written, Harry being an emo piece of shit, but that doesn't mean I enjoy reading it. Like, it's that catch-22 of it. And I was I was so certain. So, learn your own plot lines, J.K. Rowling. Like, I know you're listening, because I know you're a big fan. But just a bit of critique. Every other... Let me rewind. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Huge plot element is the ability to cast a spell without saying it out loud. It's introduced in that book. It's made a huge deal in that book. It's also made a huge deal that Snape is one of the people that's able to do that. He can do a spell without saying it out loud. He has that ability. He can point a wand and something happens. And presumably that means he could point a wand while simultaneously talking about the weather. He can just say, it's raining outside, and it'll do
And
whatever
it's a
thing he
snake.
wants.
Yeah.
And what he says doesn't have anything to do with the spell he's doing because they're unrelated things. You have introduced this aspect. Also, every single other time the killing curse is used, you very blatantly point out that it is very understated. It's just a little flash of light, little green, and then they slump over. No blasting, no explosion. Their soul is just gone, and they just collapse very anticlimactically.
Sure.
Yet, when Snape points a wand at Dumbledore and says, Avaricadabra, he explodes and he flies through the air and there's flashes of light and oh my god, blammo, blammo. Which obviously, to anybody who's paid attention and read your books and knows these two things, the fact that that's not how the killing curse works and that Snape can say one thing and cast a different spell means that that was not the killing curse. And that's interesting. And where are you going to go with that? And it turns out, no, you just don't know your own stories. Fuck you, J.K. Rowling. Like, why? Why, Dan? Did you notice that? Did that bug you? Did you think it was a fake kill? Because it bugged me.
I didn't think back.
Okay.
That's honestly the book I've read the least.
okay.
So
Even as they're in the one, I'm like, whoa, that's not how the killing curse works, but okay, all right, I'm with it, because Snape not knowing, nope, just turns out Rowling doesn't know how the curse works.
Is it foreshadowed at all in the books about Snape being his protector, or is it just kind of revealed in the last one?
It's only foreshadowed in so much as he has the hots for his mom, right?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, there's pieces in there because she did a remarkably good job of taking notes as she was writing it, so she could tie things back together.
Okay.
But
And it's
some
also
of this stuff definitely developed as the series went on as well, and it's just serendipitous that she left hooks in there. She pulled off the J.J. Abrams, I'm going to throw 1,000 hooks and use some of them kind of thing.
Sure.
and it's also foreshadowed in as much as the most frustrating thing in every single goddamn book is that if Harry would just talk to an adult, his problems would be solved.
Oh, that's the plot point of like
young
that's
adult books,
the
yeah.
mistake in almost every single.
And
movie
Snape is oftentimes that adult, right? Because Snape, even as his protector, so Snape is a complete shithead who abuses his power and abuses children. He is a piece of shit. Whether or not he dies protecting Harry Potter, he is not a good person. He's a bad teacher, and he's got bad elements of his personality. He definitely is emotionally and physically abusive to children. He definitely has preferential treatment towards sociopaths and racists. Like, he is a flawed human being at the very least. But, as Arctic was saying now, that is one thing. So, like, he treats him like shit in class. He's a mean teacher. But, like, Harry will be like, someone will be on fire in a room, and he needs water, and he'll be in the hallway and run into Snape, and Snape's like, what's wrong, Mr. Potter? Do you need anything? As an adult, as a teacher, as much as I treat you like shit, I am obligated to help you. Would you like help with something? And instead of saying, yes, I need water, he just goes, oh, Snape, I can't trust Snape, and he runs away, and then that person dies.
Sure.
Yeah, there are several points where Snape would have been the correct person to solve problems. Like, the second half of Book 5, for instance.
Yes.
Like, Snape is the one person who could have solved that and kept things going.
The number of times that Harry does not tell his current problems to Snape or Dumbledore, and if he would tell his problems to Snape or Dumbledore, they would immediately be solved, is infinite.
I think there's 3 people dead because of it.
Yeah.
Well, 2 people in Dobie, but yes.
Wow. That's racist.
And Dolby.
Yeah, the surround sound system.
Yes, that's you said in Dolby.
It has been
It's Dobby.
no, Dolby. He's talking about Dolby.
Yeah.
So
There's another one?
Thomas Dolby, the singer of "She Blinded Me with Science," dies in the Harry Potter universe because he does not talk to. I think it was McGonagall that could have rescued Thomas Dolby of "She Blinded Me with Science" fame, but Harry Potter doesn't. Because the books do take place in the 90s.
I realize our audio has been way too high for this entire episode.
Well, that's good.
Stream. So,
All right, so anyways, so
Your WTF moment.
everyone's favorite episode of Voyager.
The one where they go so fast they turn into lizards?
Yep.
Yeah!
Like, I will defend many things about Voyager.
But not that episode?
No.
I won't defend much about Voyager. The plot point of we're gonna go and break the Prime Directive, but we need you to helm this console. So whatever you don't do it again, and then we go to the next episode. It bothered me so much.
Yeah.
There's Voyager. It was filled with way too many one-off episodes.
Voyager's biggest issue was like you're saying, each episode did not repercuss into the next episode.
Correct.
And it was compounded by being on at the same time as Farscape, which did.
And just following up Deep Space Nine.
And that too. But even just, like, not even just among Star Trek. Like, both those are on the same time. And there's an episode of Voyager. You know, you'll have an episode where some alien race blasts the fuck out of the Voyager and blows up a warp coil and, you know, like, blah, blah, blah. And the next episode, they're fine.
Yeah, they do far too much preparing for Stranded.
Meanwhile, Farscape, there's a huge plot point about their ship gets infested with, like, a parasite.
Space herpes?
Basically, it's more like space lice. But their ship gets infested with a parasite, and to get rid of the parasite, they have to burn the ship. Like, they have to
Isn't
ignite.
the ship a sentient being in the?
Yes.
Okay.
The ship is a sentient
Yes.
being. So they're like,
It's
hey,
not that there's lice on the ship. The ship has lice.
we have to briefly light you on fire. Sorry about the 2nd and 3rd degree burns. It's what we have to do.
Sure.
And so it's a huge emotional thing because the ship is a character, and they do it, and guess what? For a season and a fucking half, it matters that their ship is crippled. For a season and a half. Voyager, they're fine next episode.
Yeah.
And them both being on at the same time and looking at one at the other and go, like, you're supposed to be the good one, Voyager.
Well, and
This is supposed to be the cheesy, shitty one.
Correct. And it's weird, too, because there are certain elements that are entire series-long plot strings that they do very well. But yes, then every other episode just never comes up again.
Yeah. Or they'll squander shit like Nevok, right? They'll have interesting things, and they just squander it.
Well, they had the one, at least I thought, was a really cool episode. Sorry, Dan, we're just kind of jumping off if we...
I mean Voyager.
No, I will happily, as long as we're not talking the lizards, I'm happy to talk Voyager.
Well, I mean...
Nevok! Nevok is a cool thing, fuckers.
They had the really cool, the Borg.
Nevok,
The
right?
random
Not
Borg
Tuvix?
that... Not
Right,
Seven
the
of
little
Nine.
one, right?
No, when Tuvok
when they
and
merged,
Neelix
Nevok
merged. Was
yes.
it Nevok or Tulix?
Nevix.
Nevix. Sorry, you're...
Or
No, because Neelix, Neva, whatever.
Whatever,
The point
yeah.
is, that is an interesting thing.
Well, didn't they have the random Borg? Not 7 of 9, but they had the random Borg end up leaving the collective in some way or another.
Probably.
there's
Some
a
random-
few different ones.
Okay.
There was also the two-parter where they were trapped in the holodeck in World War II France and stuff like that. Like there was individually great moments tied together with a very awkward frame story.
And then they're just home.
And then the entire thing is just a holodeck thing that Riker's watching.
Is that?
Yeah, that was the finale. It was Riker watching Voyager on the holodeck.
Was it? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The
finale was Riker was watching the series on the holodeck. Like it's yeah, right? I'm not misremembering this.
I think
Something like that happened, but I don't think it's not like we're living in a snow globe thing. It's more like half of it is him watching like a debriefing of it or something.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it didn't happen.
Okay.
It's him watching. Yeah,
like half of it is him watching like this debriefing thing of them telling the story of this trip.
Okay, all right,
Kind of thing.
that makes much more sense because
Yeah.
I thought I remember they basically made like some weird deal and they got home and I remember them being in front of like a whole big seeing all the other Federation ships at that time. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Then I thought you were trying to say that it just happened all on the holodeck and Riker is just drunk behind the chair, just drinking away, just watching it. This
computer make some shit up.
hey computer, find Tuvok and Neelix.
Computer make a bad Star Trek show.
So you want to watch
Computer
Enterprise?
make the first bad Star Trek show. Man, Enterprise started to redeem itself at the end, but it was too little, too late. Like the last 2 seasons actually got interesting.
After everyone stopped watching.
Correct. I stopped watching in episode 2. The end of episode 2, fucking A. The whole plot of episode 2 is that there is a planet that has a disease that's killing everybody, and the Enterprise has a cure. Right?
All right. Oh, but they can't put it there because it's the Prime Directive.
There is no Prime Directive, Andy. This is the beginning of their voyages.
Oh, this is where the Prime Directive starts?
Yes.
Please remember that phrase. So the whole thing is them deciding whether or not they should interfere. Okay? And at the end, Scott Bakula just like walks up in front of the camera and just goes, maybe in the future we'll have some sort of a directive about how to handle these situations. But for now, Nathan's going to turn off his television and stop watching this shitty show. And that's what I did. Like, you're really going to actually call... Like, you're going to fucking stare at the camera and call... I understand that this episode is about the Prime Directive. You don't need to fucking drop the D word
I would say,
in
at
your
this-
shitty show with lyrics in the opening credits. Bakula.
I thought the Prime Directive is uphold the law.
Yes, and
then the second Prime
do not
Directive.
arrest any member of OCP.
Yes.
Fuck.
I mean, I like...
And that is why Voyager is not the worst Star Trek series.
But like
Because
towards
you at
the end,
least watched all of it.
yeah, I watched 50% of the episodes every season, which is kind of like what, like
You watched it. You
I
turned
partially stuck with it. Yeah,
With-
You
with
turned
Voyager?
off Enterprise.
Yeah.
I didn't... I couldn't
Enterprise, I
make it through
stopped.
Voyager.
Voyager, like if it was on, I would guilt watch it, but I wouldn't actively make sure to see it every week.
It's a good binge streamer while playing WoW.
Sure.
I
you
can
can-
possibly see that because you don't
can-
have to pay attention to
Correct.
that
You can
fucking
phase
show.
out of 50% of it and not miss a goddamn thing.
Yeah, so I mean, I watched a lot of Deep Space Nine. I love Deep Space Nine. I love The Next Generation.
Deep Space Nine is the second best Battlestar, or the second best Babylon 5.
But anyway, I watched a couple episodes of Voyager, and I'm like, meh. And then I did not watch any of Enterprise at all. I
Well, that
remember,
was the right decision.
Yeah.
It was. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I watched those 2 episodes and never watched again. I heard that like season 4 or whatever, they started to introduce like an actual overarching plot
And then-
that had like some aliens on like an alternate timeline, or there were like a Nazi Earth or something. I don't know the details, but I heard it got really good for like those last 2 seasons, and then it got mercy
Shot.
killed from bad ratings,
And so that J.J. Abrams could reboot the entire thing.
which I like.
No, that was actually a long
Two-thirds of
time
those
before
films.
J.J. Abrams even touched it, because Star Trek was gone, I think, almost 10 years.
Yeah.
10 plus years.
Was it that
before,
long?
Yeah,
Probably.
before they even put in. Because, Next Generation, that's early 90s.
Correct.
And
I thought
Picard,
Enterprise was early 2000s.
and Patrick Stewart doesn't look like he's aged a single year.
Well, I mean, he bathes in the blood of virgins. And
True. On the grass.
I've seen it all.
It's like, oh, you can't right here. God, that show's good. Not just that episode. Every fucking episode of that show.
It is really solid.
Like, even if you don't watch that show, it's worth just Googling a random British celebrity's name and the word extras.
Oh, yeah,
And
extras,
to see
yeah.
their clip. Because Daniel Radcliffe on extras is amazing. And Ian McKellen on extras is amazing. Oh, fucking A. Every single one of them. Daniel Radcliffe talking about how he wants to like bang Dame Judi Dench, and she's like, Daniel, just go away. He's like, I've got a condom, and he just holds up a completely unrolled one. He's like, I'm ready to go.
I just love how his attempt to make sure he wasn't typecast as Harry Potter was to be an Equus.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it worked for him.
More power to Daniel Radcliffe. He's
Correct.
great. And anytime he plays himself, it's amazing.
The
He's great on BoJack.
Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man? Yeah.
We got hit with another copyright strike on that.
Did we?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Out of all
So
the
what you're
videos-
saying is this episode is going to be really bad.
No.
Don't just post. Just don't post it on YouTube.
I mean, I'm not showing clips of Swiss Army Man, but yeah, it originally got hit with the
We
copyright.
mentioned that, and then Cuckoo for Cocoa Cox.
Yeah.
You think the director of Cuckoo for Cocoa Cox is going to hit us with a copyright strike?
No, I'm expecting they're just listening to that for content rating.
No, I legit hope it's the director of Cuckoo for Cocoa Cox. It's like, those motherfuckers.
God, if I wanted to get ratings, I would just put that in the title.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Cox.
Yeah. But Swiss Army Man
yeah.
is it's a fucked up movie. Have you seen it yet, Dan?
No.
Okay. It's about the tale of
It's a man and his magic corpse.
Yeah.
Black thinks we were monetized to begin with.
Oh yeah. we were not monetized at all.
Swiss Army Man is definitely worth watching. It is it's an interesting film. Like,
Is it one of those films where you go, I'm glad I sat through this and I will never do it again?
Yeah, kind of. I don't expect to watch it again. I might watch it again. There were scenes that were very, very interesting and well done. I would probably rewatch certain scenes, like when they do the dinner date, and he sets up
And the
like
bus-
that
the
whole
bus sequence.
and the whole bus sequence. There's a lot of really interesting sequences. I'm disagreeing with Non-Euclidean Nick about the last 30 seconds. Well, maybe. I agree that if it had ended 30 seconds sooner, it would have been
A different film.
incredibly different film, like Andy said. I don't know if it makes it a better film, but the last 30 seconds changes it a lot. Maybe the version without the last 30 seconds is better, but I'm not willing to say that and line up. It's definitely much darker without the last 30 seconds, yeah. But it is definitely worth seeing. It's an interesting story. It's well done. It's well acted. It's incredibly unique. You'll never see anything else like it. And artistically speaking, it's very, very meritorious.
It's one of those. I do not consider myself to be an artsy fartsy watching person, and it was weird enough where I liked it.
Very well.
But it is an artsy. You would like it, actually, because you enjoy the surreal, like David Lynchian, Hideo Kojima
True.
kind of things.
Yeah, you would.
The good David Lynch, not the bad David Lynch. But like
The old David Lynch.
The fucking grappling hook sequence.
So, yeah, okay. All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, because the general elevator pitch of it, without saying too much, is there's a man who's stranded on a deserted island, and he's stranded with a second person who did not survive the stranding. So it is a man and his corpse. But the corpse begins to provide things, like he needs water, and water just comes from its mouth, and it's fresh water, just a font of fresh water.
This is a Hideo Kojima thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, right? And so it's like, well, that can't be real, right? And like, he escapes that first island by riding it like a jet ski powered by the corpse's post-mortem farts. And so they're bizarre, and
This is me.
Yeah,
This
like-
is my movie.
farts are a sophomoric thing. Like, it's weird because that's sophomoric humor. Like, farting is
But it's
sophomoric
well
humor.
done
but it's
sophomoric.
artistic and interesting because the whole thing is how much of this is happening.
Set up so you can say artistic fart.
Yes, but how much of this is really happening? Is there really a magic corpse that has infinite fresh water in its mouth and farts to propel him like a jet ski? Or is he just insane and dying on a beach somewhere? And the film juggles that. And that's all I'll tell you.
Okay, no, I'm sold.
I mean, we could show you the trailer, and the trailer doesn't give away... I mean, it gives away some of the weird stuff in there, but the trailer is all magical.
Yeah.
I mean, it is
It's a good
easily
trailer.
one of my favorite trailers out
It's
there.
a good trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so... I think you would like
Yeah,
it.
this sounds very intriguing.
Or at the very least, you'd watch it and go, I don't know if I liked it, but I'm glad I watched it. It's one of those kinds
Sure.
of films where that's an acceptable response.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
I still don't remember what my recommendation was. It was something old. Something old. It's like an old movie I was going to say people should check out. I can't remember. It's bugging me. I'm angry.
This reminds me of one time in college where I accidentally ruined Citizen Kane for someone, and she's all like, spoilers. I'm like, the movie came out in 1940.
Andy complained that what TV show ruined Sixth Sense for you?
Oh, yeah. It was
Family
50
Guy.
First Dates.
Oh.
51st Date ruined Sixth Sense for Andy, and he was angry at the movie.
I wasn't angry at the film. It was,
I mean,
it was one of those
two things, Andy.
Yeah.
One, you should be angry at Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And two,
That
10
was-
years.
But that was during his phase of making... He was trying to
51st
do a
Dates
cute
isn't
little movie.
bad. 51st Dates isn't bad as long as you don't overthink the horror of the ending.
Yeah.
Especially, like, so...
This is going to like 102, possibly 200 episodes
We didn't
back
talk
for
about
us.
You
this.
remember this rant, though.
She's
Yeah, I
got a
remember we talked
kid.
about it, yeah.
That had to be a rough 9 months for her. Or at least 6 of those
Why
9
am I
months.
getting fatter?
She wakes up and she's fucking pregnant? Oh, my lord.
No, I mean...
There's some also awkward rapish type things.
Well, definitely.
I still haven't actually seen Sixth Sense either.
Or she just slutty and puts out on with somebody she met. I met you today. You claimed that we're married. Let's have sex. So, yeah,
That's
that is.
worrisome that's the best possible outcome.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Don't overthink the ending. It's supposed to be romantic. Don't think about it.
Yeah.
It's very rapey and terrible. It's like The One, where you need to not overthink the ending.
I'm fine with the ending.
Sure, don't think about it.
Yeah, I don't think about it. But no, I didn't watch The Sixth Sense for the longest time, and I still haven't seen it. But Brian and my normal friends that I hung around at the time, they never spoiled it for me, which was very nice of them. But then we went to go see 51st Dates, and then it was spoiled, and they all just kind of looked at me. I'm like,
Speaking of which, Glass. I'm excited about Glass.
Yeah, I have not seen Split. The only spoiler I knew about Split, or that somebody had leaked someplace that it was in that universe.
Yeah. I mean, once the Glass trailer came out, that spoiler is
Correct.
expired.
I'm intrigued. I mean, M. Night Shyamalan, I feel, has always had really good intentions with films. Everything that he films is filmed well. It looks nice. But sometimes they need to corral him with his story. Like, somebody should go like, "Hey, can you tell me what your movie is
He needs
about?"
a co-writer or a producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because The Happening, that happened, and that was shit. I know that there's a lot of people who do not like Lady in the Water. I'm one of the few that actually really does like Lady in the Water.
Lady in the Water and The Happening and The Village are all bad for different reasons. Lady in the Water is him trying to compress a decade of stories he told his children at bedtime into a 2-hour film, and that is a lot of shit to shove into a 2-hour film. It's interesting. I probably would have loved a Lady in the Water miniseries or
Yes.
television series.
Yeah, I think that
but
would have
for
been
a
nice.
2-hour film, it just does not work in my
So
mind.
it has the Stephen King movie syndrome.
Yes. It is like, imagine if Stephen King had never released any books at all and then released his entire mythos of all of his interconnected stories in one 2-hour film.
As a Hollywood movie.
Yes, and that's what Lady in the Water is. It's just way too much shit all shoved together.
It's got some very, very cool parts of the film.
Yeah.
It has probably some of the best Stan Winston special effects that you'll ever see
Thank
are
you.
not in
I
there.
remember my recommendation now because it's Stan Winston related. Oh, thank you. I'm going to type it in here so I don't forget it.
I know what you're talking about. $1.5 million, Stan Winston, are you talking about?
I'm not.
Oh.
I don't think. unless that's like the budget of the film and that's trivia that I don't know.
But that
Probably
was
not.
the budget of hey, we'll make this thing for you, and the company said, no, we could do this on our own.
Oh, no,
and then they tried it on their own. They're like, no, this is not working. Hey, Stan.
Yeah, no, not that, but yeah, no. But no, and the Village failed because it started with the twist and worked backwards. If you know the twist of the Village, there is zero story there. It is terrible.
But I didn't. When I watched it, I didn't pick up on that right away.
18th century village that's in a national park one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I saw the trailer, and I'm like, oh, it's modern day. It was, and knowing that, it's just, it doesn't fucking work. And the twists in his other films, the film Sixth Sense is good even when you know Bruce Willis is dead. It's still a good movie.
Wait, what?
Bruce Willis died. Oh. Yeah, sorry you had to find out this way.
He's on a roast tonight. How
Yeah.
can he be dead?
Yeah, they just yell at his corpse.
Water will come out.
Yeah. It farts. And what was the other one? God, The Happening. Because it's similar to The Village.
Well,
Just-
I mean, the twist in that is, I mean, it's the trees doing it. It's pollen and stuff like that. But I mean,
I know this is also a repeat rant, but
yeah, it is. But it's
Weird in my mind was I was mixing up the village and Wicker Man.
oh no, the bees! Oh, that movie's hilarious.
I was
Just running
try-
around punching old
Well, I was
ladies.
trying to remember what the Shyamalan twist in the Wicker Man was.
I mean, the Wicker Man has a twist, and it's way better than
It's terrible.
well, the original one. I mean,
Yeah.
the sequel, the remake has the same twist, which is that
Correct.
There was all fake and blah blah blah. But the Village could have had a double twist because the twist was so opposite, and that would have been good. But The Happening, if it had no explanation, God, I would have loved it.
I think I've only seen parts of it. I think I saw the very end of it, and that was about it. I saw the trailers in that just make it seem just so gruesome with just people killing themselves.
And the first half hour is that.
Yeah,
The first half hour is just people laying down in front of the riding lawnmower, a guy just walking into a lion cage, a rain of like 50 people just jumping off a building, and just it's disturbing.
Sure.
It's fucking disturbing. And if you stick with that and you just have, this is our world now. People are just killing themselves, and we don't know why, and we don't know how to stop it. It's just what it is. And have these people trying to survive it, huddled together, one at a time, they snap and kill themselves, and make it bleak, have them all die. Or have them survive, and it was just like a 1 week thing, and now it's over, whichever. But never fucking explain it.
Yeah.
Never explain it, and then you have a great psychological thriller. Instead, you have Marky Mark negotiating with a plastic plant and trying to outrun the wind. And you ruin your fucking movie. You have a half hour of brilliance and then an hour and a half of Jesus Christ, I paid for this.
So somebody that mentioned in the chat though too is like, what was the twist in Signs? I mean, in fact, it was just an alien film. It wasn't. They weren't actually demons, but it's a very, very good. Had it been demons, it would have made a much better twist in it though too. If all the water in that would have been blessed by somebody who had been a redeemed priest.
You mean like, for example, the main character, who indeed does exactly that? The main character is an ex-priest who refines his faith and bless that water before it's used on those aliens.
I'm thinking of some argument that we had. Not
We
argument,
have.
but
It is
was-
a fan theory that they are demons. In
Correct.
the film, they are aliens, but it actually does fit the movie that they're demons,
Yeah, that they're demons,
and
yeah.
that he
That's what I
refining his
And
faith.
also, it makes no goddamn sense that water-phobic aliens invade a planet with a water-dense atmosphere and 70% liquid water.
Yes. And so having them be demons and having it be about him finding his faith makes the movie better. So it's not actually a twist in the film, but it's not disputed
But it's-
by the film.
but yeah,
so you can use it, and it makes the movie better.
It's still technically a fan theory, but it's a fan theory that actually makes the film better.
Correct, and it fits. Like, it's not disputed. It's kind of like the fan theory that James Bond is a code name, and all these movies are all canon, and every 20 years or so, he gets killed off on a mission, and they just replace him with another guy and say, you're James Bond now.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, sure.
but not the same person.
But not
the same entity.
It's more like Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
He's the Dread Pirate Roberts
Sure.
of MI5.
Yeah.
Actually,
Right.
yeah, that works very well.
It works incredibly well because you can have the entire 40 years of James Bond canon.
Well, and the thing is, they even canon do that for
This never happened to the other guy.
for M.
Yeah, you do it with M. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they flat out do that with M.
Yeah.
So
And it makes the fourth wall breaking on Her Majesty's Secret Service when Lazenby says this never happened to the other guy, an actual in-canon thing instead of just being a fourth wall breaking wink.
It was great when James Bond turned female for that one episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that episode
Yeah,
where
that
James
episode
Bond is a
is-
woman.
Fucking amazing. I showed. I was in the middle of.
Blonde.
Atomic Blonde, yes.
Yeah, Atomic Blonde. Is,
Yes,
yeah.
I explained that to one of my coworkers. I'm like, it's
Like, do you like Charlize Theron, 80s music, and James Bond? Then watch this movie.
Well, no.
actually, like-
or the other way of saying it, this is flat out a James Bond movie with all you do is change it from a male to a female protagonist. Change nothing else.
I would have likened it more closer to the more modern Casino Royale.
Sure.
As in, because it's a Casino Royale was really more action orientated as compared to some of the previous Bonds were really more about smarting, shooting, gadgets.
Yeah,
and
although
she doesn't use.
She doesn't use gadgets. Although I love the 80s and 80s music, so
Yes.
I love that era. I also enjoy lesbian makeout scenes, and so it's got that going for it. But yeah, it's good.
Jim's introduction to that film was the fight sequence.
That's a great
right before they plunge into the
that whole
sequence.
single shot.
Yeah, you can definitely tell where there's cuts in there, but it's
You can
done
tell, but it's
very
done.
good.
You can tell because I've seen enough single shot films that anytime the camera sweeps through and there's a single frame of pure blackness, I go, "There's a cut." Like you can't fool me.
Or like the back of somebody. But
Chat says the Bond theory got shot down at some point. It hasn't been shot down within the films. The creators of the series might have claimed that the theory is wrong, but I am a huge proponent of the death of the author theory, meaning that I don't give a shit about their opinion. You can create a movie or a book or an album or whatever, and you put it out there. And once it's there, your opinion is no more meaningful than any of the other 6 billion people on the planet. The film, book, comic book, etc. exists as it exists, and if you wanted something to overtly be a specific way, you should have put it in there.
if you were the person that was like the actual creator had worked and created that film,
No.
would that?
Nope. Death of the author. If the film's there, if so, like let's say Signs. Okay, Signs is what it is. The movie Signs is there, and I look at the text within the film, and I see the film for what the film is. If M. Night Shyamalan is sitting in that chair, and you're sitting in that chair, and I'm sitting in this chair and dancing in that chair, all four of us are on equal footing as far as I am concerned to interpret the movie Signs. Because everything that you can interpret from the film is in there, and if M. Night Shyamalan thinks that there's more information, he should have put it in there. It's not in there.
Okay.
The text speaks for itself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, basically, everybody can interpret it their own way.
Correct.
And yeah, if you wanted something in there to mean something else, then you should have put it in.
Right,
Yep,
and
that
that's
makes
the
sense.
death of
Okay.
the author theory, is that once it's there, you aren't special anymore. You made it, it's got a life of its own.
Okay.
And so the directors and Robert Broccoli, they can say whatever they want. Too bad. Oh man, I will talk film theory for 10
Holy-
fucking hours.
Holy shit! I
No.
didn't realize how long our podcast has been.
Well, you got
We
me
said-
talking film theories, and that
mean-
was a mistake.
I mean, we went from because when I looked back and we
You
were
were
going
worried it
to
was
start
gonna be
doing
too short,
Zappity
yeah.
Grumbles, I looked back and I saw it was an hour.
Yeah.
And now we're like running 2 hours plus.
Yeah, well, like you got me talking film theory. I will always talk way too long about film theory.
Well, we should cut to recommendations quick. Nathan had a quick one that he forgot about already. Did you forget?
No, I didn't. Well,
He wrote it
didn't.
down.
I did not forget, but I did write it down. Although it did erase itself, so I'm glad that I didn't forget. It's an older film. It's underappreciated, underloved, but it's one of my favorite 80s horror films, which is Pumpkinhead.
Oh, Christ.
Pumpkinhead is a phenomenal movie. It is underloved, underappreciated. You have probably not watched it. You should watch it. It is way, way, way better than a movie called Pumpkinhead has any right to be. The villain in it is amazingly designed. It's done by Stan Winston. The movie's actually directed by Stan Winston. It's the only film he directed before he passed away. Lance Henriksen's in it. It's great. The story is intriguing. The moral quandary of right and wrong is deeper than you would expect from a cheesy 80s film. Andy looks confused.
Who is the other big special effects guy that's still around then? That's got the white hair and the ponytail. I think Stan Winston is still alive.
Then who am I thinking of that died? Who's the other one that died then?
Harryhausen?
No, not Harry Harryhausen.
If the Pumpkinhead was done by him, it would be great.
No, Stan Winston died in 2008. You're thinking of... I know who you're thinking of. He worked on the thing
Rick
with
Baker
Stan
is who
Winston.
I'm thinking
Rick
of.
Baker. You're thinking of Rick Baker,
Yeah,
yes.
because I was like, sitting there thinking, I was like, fuck, I thought, because I know his school is still around. And
Rick Baker, yeah, is still around. But Stan Winston passed away. Pumpkinhead's the only film that he directed. It's Stan Winston fans know it, but the general audience doesn't give two shits about Pumpkinhead, and they should. It's actually really good. It's really interesting. It's well done. It's got a very interesting moral core to it, which I enjoy. It's got really cool moments, like whatever. Watch Pumpkinhead. I'm sure you can.
It's
find
probably
it cheap.
filled. It's got to be filled with an amazing special effects because that's what amazing practical special effects.
Yeah.
Because that's what Stan Winston is known for.
The creature of Pumpkinhead looks amazing. It's a really cool design. The story's really good. Lance Henriksen's good in it. It's one of those ones where so it's a revenge story. I don't know. Have you guys seen it?
No,
You've never seen Pumpkinhead?
It's early '80s or it's '80s film.
So
and I haven't. If I've seen it, it's been such a long time. I don't.
There's kids dirt biking. They're going off ramps or whatever. Lance Henriksen's son is playing, and they don't see him, and they hit him. They kill him. Right? These kids accidentally kill Lance Henriksen's son. So he goes to a gypsy witch lady, whatever, and says, I want vengeance. And he unleashes Pumpkinhead, the spirit of vengeance, to start murdering the kids. And the issue is, they didn't mean to, right? Their victim, it was an accident. And so it's this interesting moral quandary where, you feel for him as a grieving father, but these kids just fucked up. They don't deserve to be disemboweled by this 10-foot-tall demon of hatred, right? And so the movie's very interesting, and it deals with that instead of just being a dumb slasher flick.
Does Lance deal with it?
Lance does deal with it.
Okay, that's good.
Lance deals with it as well, because as he sees these kids getting killed, he's like, I mean, is this right of me to have done? My son wouldn't have wanted me to murder a bunch of teenagers, but I want vengeance because I'm a grieving father, and that's the core of the film. So it's more emotionally deep than you'd think. It has great Stan Winston special effects. It's good, good, good. I believe there are a couple shitty direct-to-video sequels. Do not watch them, but the first one's really good. Also, there's a really shitty video game that you should definitely not play, but watch the movie. I'm done now.
Me? I don't have anything. This will be the episode I don't have anything. Dan, do you have anything?
So I haven't actually checked it out, so I'm not sure how good it's going. Been ported over, but I did get an email notification, I think yesterday, that all of the Mega Man X games are now available on the PS4. So
And Switch as well.
Yep.
It's 2 collections, just like they did with Mega Man.
Yep. So I'm probably getting at least Collection 1 because I played a fuck ton of Mega Man X, the original one, and I wish I could buy just that one, but
20XX is also available for the Switch and for Steam, which is a Mega Man roguelike. I don't know.
I would say it's a Mega Man X roguelike. It feels more like X than the original Mega Man, but yeah, it's good. It's good.
So I will pre-recommend that because I was going to buy that this afternoon, but then I spent an hour and a half doing 2 of the fucking temple or mini game puzzle things on the moon for Majora's Mask. Because
Majora's Mask.
it's great, but Today what I did was the Stone Temple, which takes too fucking long to get all the fairies in it, and then the Zora Mask thing on the moon. You have to do 6 dolphin jumps on the 3DS version, and I did that for 50 minutes before I got through that piece.
Yeah, I love the Groundhog's Day mechanic of Majora's Mask.
Yes.
It's so interesting to me. I like Majora's Mask better than Ocarina of Time, but
Correct.
I know that's heresy to say.
I mean, it's right.
Come on, check out that guy.
All right. So, do you still have anything else?
No,
I
I mean-
I did find out what mine was. Yeah. It's
Okay,
cool.
so go ahead, Andy.
Mine is a Kickstarter. It's a very cheap Kickstarter. It only has 1 level. It's only $35. And if you like dogs and you like Dungeons and Dragons, you should get it up because Animal Adventures: Tales of Dungeons and Doggies. It is an amazing Kickstarter started by one of my friends, Charles Agel. Works for Steam.
Oh, I didn't realize Egel was doing that.
Yeah, this is kind of his thing. All
All right, I'll back it then.
It is just has a ton of dogs in it. I believe you get out of $35, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 dogs and a special Kickstarter exclusive. You get awesome ones like
To clarify, they are Dungeons and Dragons characters
classes.
reimagined as dogs. So there's like
Yes.
a dog rogue, a dog wizard, a dog fighter, a dog, so
Yep.
on and so on.
Okay, yeah,
and it's
so-
also Pugmire compatible, and Pugmire is the
The
pug,
actual rule set.
the
Yeah.
rule set for it with pugs in D&D. So you have like Cassandra, the Husky Paladin, Cerise, the Saint Bernard Cleric. You have Cornelius, the Golden Retriever Wizard, and that's the main one that you see painted up.
He's got the pointed hat, like the Rincewind hat.
Yep. Flint, the Cattle Dog Ranger. Freya, the German Shepherd Druid. Probably my favorite one that I have to get because, God, if I could own a dog, I would pay the $2,000 it gets. You have
French,
to pay to
yeah.
go on. But Hartley, the French Bulldog Fighter.
French bulldogs are adorable.
They're the best. I would probably get a Bulldog, too, because, oh, my God. They're a little farty, but
So are you.
Montague.
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 I just call it Montague. The Cocker Spaniel Bard. Morgaine. Morgaine, the Dachshund Sorcerer. Nightingale, the Pomeranian Monk. Svetlana, the Beagle Barbarian. Tedric, the Chihuahua Rogue. And Tobias, the Corgi Warlock. And if you get all of them, you also get Tonka, the Mastiff Bard.
Adorable.
It's only $35.
But the question is, does it have muzzle?
Muzzle? What?
From Road Rovers, the dog in the straitjacket.
Yeah, yeah. Good old Road Rovers. Yeah, it was like a Doberman in a straitjacket, and they would just let him loose. And
Oh, somebody should put that in there.
Road Rovers, yeah.
Pretty much that's I imagine what the transfers from Crucible Guard are.
Sure. Go, go, go.
All right.
Road Rovers, man, that's a deep cut.
All right. So, yeah, go get Animal Adventures: Tales of Dungeons and Doggies. It's on Kickstarter now. There's 41 hours to go.
So by the time you hear it, there's
it'll
like
be about
17
24
hours to go. Yeah.
All right. I'll have to make sure I get this up by noon tomorrow. But I backed it. It was awesome. Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode.
Or will we?
I mean, the way the track's going, 3 of the 4 of us will be.
There's only 3 of us.
There's 4 technically.
Oh, you're counting the ones that aren't here?
Correct.
Oh,
Okay.
we forgot to mention how adorable David is when he's drunk.
Oh, he's adorable drunk.
He's
He was very, very huggy. And, yeah, he's an adorable drunk.
He is. He also wandered off a lot. Jake and I eventually ended up having to just pull the car up and get either get in or you're finding a different ride back to Madison.
He is
Oh, my God.
adorable.
like David is generally not the type of person that'll go up and hug you, but if he's been drinking, he will. I
was
know you.
very
I'm gonna
huggy.
hug you. Like
He tried to hug certain people like 2 or 3 times, and they're like,
Yeah.
"You've already hugged me." He's
Correct.
like, "I'm gonna do it again."
He's a statistician. He's got to repeat everything several times.
Yeah, that was the control group.
oh, he's so adorable. So at War Machine Weekend, get David drunk and watch it.
It was
Watch
quite
the love flow.
It was very entertaining. Other than the "Are you going to be able to drive in an hour?" conversation.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching, listening. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.